Hey guys, we are in the basement, and today guys, on this episode of John's Arcade, well guys, we're getting out of here yet again. Yes, this is another John's Arcade on the road. Now the last video, you know, we went to my friend Dan's place, the Worcester Mass Pinball Club, and we saw a ton of pinball. In this video, we're gonna see a ton of video arcade games. And by the way, look back here. My Major Havoc is down. And it's been acting up the last few months. I would turn the arcade on and that game would not turn on. And then I would unplug it from the wall and plug it back in and then it would work. And I kind of suspected the power supply was going, and I think it has gone. I do think it's the power supply. The cone lights are not lighting up. The marquee light is lit. I don't know if the monitor is on. I haven't pulled it out. I haven't looked at it. It literally just happened. I tried power cycling it. It didn't fix it, so I don't know. I can't win down here. Anyway, all right, what are we doing today? So we're gonna go to Worcester, Mass, and we're gonna visit my buddy Jay's arcade. Now, my friend Jay has two, besides the hangar that him and I do together, he has two arcades. He has one in Providence, Rhode Island called Free Play Arcade in Providence, Rhode Island, and then he's opening a second one in Worcester, Mass, okay? Now, he's been working on this all year and was supposed to open, but couldn't because of all this COVID stuff. So we're gonna go there and check it out. Now, it really stinks because it's done, it's ready to be open, but the state is not allowing him. So anyway, enough of that. Let's just hop in the car. We're gonna take a ride. This is an awesome arcade, by the way. I mean, if you guys wanna see a lot of video arcade games, you're gonna love this video. So anyway, enough of that. Let's hop in the car and let's take a ride to Worcester, Mass. Alright guys, we are here at the Free Play Bar Arcade in Worcester, Massachusetts. Jay's got some cool neon signs here. Space Invaders, nice signage here. Free Play Bar Arcade. Pretty cool old building too. Alright, let's go inside and see what's going on here at Free Play.
Who is it? John!
Jay, this is it!
What's happening? Welcome to Free Play.
Thank you. This is the Free Play Bar Arcade, and where are we?
We're in Worcester.
In Worcester? I would say Worcester.
Worcester, it's Worcester.
Worcester?
You could say like Worcester if you're like from this area.
Can I say Worcester?
Worcester.
Do people say that, Worcester?
Not really.
It's how it's spelled.
It is. And a lot of people that don't know it are like, where's Worcester? Worcester. Yeah,
Right.
Worcester, yeah. So yeah, welcome to Free Play Worcester.
All right, so let's check this out. I'm excited to see it because I haven't. We've been to your other place.
In Providence, right.
In Providence, which was super impressive. This is the new place, which you haven't been able to open.
Right. Yeah, so it's almost September. We were ready to open, I would say, in mid-March, late March, right when the pandemic hit. So we've been on pause for about 7 months now. So it's been like this for a good 7 months, what you're about to see. So,
right.
Yeah.
All right, let's check it out.
All right.
Wow, Jay, this is like super impressive.
Oh, thanks, John.
So like this was like a blank slate when you got it, right?
Yeah, we were able to build this like from the ground up. It was an old restaurant that had been in Worcester for like 40 years, and they had like, you know, moved on. So we grabbed the space and we were able to basically customize it the way you see it now, right?
Yeah.
So
Tim, who has a YouTube channel, you're just like cleaning and stuff, or
Yeah,
what's happening?
I'm a professional glass cleaner here, and I help out occasionally cleaning glass.
thanks, Tim.
Yeah, Tim has a YouTube channel called That Tim Guy.
I'm that Tim guy,
Yes, here he is.
and here I am. I'm working really hard for Jay and cleaning glass.
All right, why don't we take a tour?
All right,
What's going on here? So first of all, I noticed like these murals.
Yeah.
Like, and they're all kind of like blacklight reactive, right?
Right.
So, like, who made these and painted these?
Yeah,
They're
so
pretty badass.
this guy down here, Sam White, I don't know if you can see that. He's did some work in Providence for us, and we brought him up here into Worcester, and kind of came up with a theme that we wanted. Like, for instance, this whole wall is like kind of a space theme. So we took obviously Tempest, Star Wars, Space Invaders, and we just kind of made a giant wall of all these space-themed games.
Yeah, he did an amazing job.
Yeah, and he had never worked with blacklight before, like reflective paint.
Yeah.
So he didn't really know how it was going to come out. And if you look closer, you can see the grid, the detail that he did. Like each one of these squares was drawn.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah, he sat here for days and did this. It was,
so this is like pixel perfect.
It really is.
Yeah.
It really is. And he did a phenomenal job. But the blacklight came out amazing. People see it and they're like, wait, is that lit up from the back? Or how are you doing that? I'm like, no, it's just reflective. It's just the paint that he used.
Yeah, it's like a cool illusion.
Yeah, really cool effect.
And so here's the bar. And again, you can't open it.
Yeah.
This, I mean, honestly, this sucks. Like,
I know.
You put so much effort in this, and right before you're about to finally open,
yeah, we get cut.
This COVID thing happens.
Yeah, so we can't do anything.
I mean, guys, if you could see this, I mean, this is a serious barcade. Like, this is not.
Yeah, it was well.
You didn't rent like 400 square foot in a mall.
Right.
Like, this is the real deal here.
No, a lot of planning went into this.
Yeah.
The game selection, the game layout. Everything that we did in here, we thought about. Throughout before we did it. So a lot of work went into this.
So let's just kind of start in the bar area.
Yeah, sure.
So you said it was an old restaurant.
Right. This original bar was here, and we just kind of like fine-tuned it and resurfaced it. But this is the original bar that had been here, for 40 plus years, and we just gave it a facelift, right? So it looks pretty good,
Yeah, it looks fantastic.
Yeah. So
I like the brick. I love the kind of wood top. Is this almost like floor?
Yeah, this is a ceramic tile, and we just kind of put it on top.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a ceramic tile that we just put on top with the grain finish. Yeah, it came out nice. If you can picture, this was like a 70s looking like wood bar,
VFW.
Yeah, exactly, like that look and feel. Years and years of bar spillage and all that fun stuff on it. And we just kind of resurfaced it. We kept the brick underneath and everything, and redid the back to give it some brick.
Right.
But we wanted to keep that mill kind of look and feel, that industrial look and feel to the bar space.
Yeah.
So we did.
And so obviously this is the bar area, so you have to have cocktails.
Exactly.
And I like the risers.
Oh, yeah, thanks.
I don't see that often. Did you make those? What's the story behind those
I had
risers?
a friend of mine, Pete, that we experimented with these, and I said basically, look, I want to keep these bar height to match the bar stools. These are going to go in the bar. I don't want low cocktails. I want high. Because if you think of the Atari cocktails, you can adjust them to bar height. Even Nintendo, right? You can adjust them to bar height.
Right.
But the Midway, you couldn't really do that. So we built these risers to get them to bar height, and they work great. I mean, you can sit or you can stand. However you want to play the game, and it goes perfect in the bar.
It kind of makes more sense, honestly.
Yeah, I love it. I think it's going to work out really well.
It's kind of like an arcade one-up mod.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah, all right, so, and again, the murals, you have Tron and obviously Street Fighter.
Right.
Love it. So the cocktails you have here, we have Mappy. I like Mappy.
It's a fun game. And you never see it in cocktail form.
I was going to say, this is an original Mappy cocktail.
Yeah.
Super cool game.
People love it.
Yeah, I do too. I love this game.
Yeah.
I love all the Midway stuff, honestly. And then Miss Pac-Man, gotta have that.
Yep, staple. Yeah.
And obviously these are all original with CRTs.
Exactly.
No LCDs. No stuff going on.
No LCDs.
Galaga. And these are all kind of original, unrestored condition, which honestly, as time goes on, I appreciate that more.
Right.
In a lot of ways,
And honestly, John, they're going to get drinks spilled on them. They're going to get abused and everything. So why put all brand new glass and everything if it's just going to get destroyed, in this environment? So.
And the business model is cover charge with free play?
That's correct. Yeah, all the games are set to free. You pay a cover charge, and you're in for the night. Yep.
Tim, what are you cleaning over here? Over here, I'm cleaning Arkanoid. Okay. So here's an Arkanoid and a Midway cocktail.
Yeah,
This
probably
uptick version of
Miss
some sort.
Pack or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was converted to an Arkanoid. Yep.
Is this like a Tron spinner?
I think it is. Yeah.
Yeah.
Is it? Yeah. I don't know.
I mean, it's
an Arkanoid
clean
spinner.
Conversion. Honestly, no one's gonna notice it.
No, it was done. It was done right. You know,
Right.
it was definitely done well. So, yeah.
Now, Space Sap, this is super rare.
Yeah,
I like this game.
Space Sap's a lot of fun, and there's a guy locally, Brendan, who put this score up. He's a really good Space Sap player, so I'm gonna put this here for him because he lives in the area, and I know he's gonna come here and play it all the time.
Yeah.
So this is his game, and it's here for him.
That's
you know?
funny.
So.
And you used to have the upright kind of cabaret mini one.
Yes,
right,
yeah, in my
There's
basement.
Like 3 cabinets, right?
Right, there's the full-size upright, which is kind of small. It's almost like a cabaret. And then there's the cabaret size, which is like the Pac-Man style cabaret. And then the cocktail with, I love these giant buttons, you know, people just pound on them.
Right.
But it's a really fun game, really, really.
Yeah, the giant buttons is almost like, it reminds me a little bit of those kind of 80s, like
Simon Says
Yes,
or something.
exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, exactly. 4-player versus Pac-Man. Now, I think this was ours, right?
This was in Amherst at John and Jay's for a little while. And then we, you know, traded it out for a pinball, and this came here. So,
Yes.
but yeah, this is a big hit in Providence, and people play it all the time.
All right, so let's go down here. So I like this kind of.
Yeah, we added this ramp. This wasn't here in order to be.
Really?
Yeah, we had to be.
Added this.
We had to be handicap compliant, you know, for the new building that we were, you know, doing here. So we had to add this ramp in. And it's got a cool look and feel to it, though. It gives you like the, you know, into the game room kind of feel, you know?
No, I agree. The ramp kind of breaks it up in a really kind of appealing way. You know?
Yeah.
Tim, what are you going to clean now? Point blank or?
Well, I'm not actually going to go to the point blank. I have to go clean the big giant 6-player
X-Men, yeah.
here.
Looks a little
I
dirty.
spent a lot of time cleaning the monitor and the glass in front of the monitor.
Do you want to talk about that?
Well, you know, if we go over this way.
Yeah.
This giant 6-player X-Men.
All right.
The monitor getting dialed in. That was
2 monitors.
Yeah, 2 monitors.
Right.
One's on the bottom, one's on the top.
Right.
They're reflecting to each other, and when you stand dead center, everything lines up just perfectly. We spent a lot of time trying to make sure that that's lined up as best as you can get.
It wasn't easy. I mean, 2 monitors in there. You know, one's using a mirror, one's not, and you want to overlap so they touch basically in the middle, but not overlap too much, right? And then getting the colors so you can even see the colors aren't perfect, but a lot of tweaking on this game to try to get those just right, you know?
Yeah, it's a super cool cabinet. You know,
Yeah.
our friend Adam has one.
Yeah.
And him and I actually picked one of these up from a warehouse like forever ago.
Oh, no kidding.
Really on the cheap.
Yeah.
But it is the ultimate beat 'em up cabinet from Konami.
It is.
Turtles, Simpsons, no, X-Men. That's like
everybody knows
this
X-Men,
is
6-player.
I mean, it's literally the king of them.
I call it.
It's the granddaddy. It's the crown jewel
Absolutely.
of them. You know.
I call it table stakes. If you're gonna have like a legit, you know, bar arcade or whatever you want to call it, you have to have an X-Men 6-player, no doubt. I mean, people go and they're like, oh wow, you've got the original 6-man X-player. I haven't seen this game since I was a kid in the 90s, you know, like this is it. This is the game
And
to have.
it's not common. I haven't seen many of them, honestly.
No.
You know?
I think a lot of them got dumped, honestly, because they're so big, you know, and like, what are you gonna do with this thing, you know?
I mean, Jay, the control panel alone, if we open this up right now, all 3 of us could
Could
get
fit inside, yeah.
and close it, right?
You're right, John.
Right?
It's
So,
just,
like,
yeah, it's empty inside.
Yes.
I mean, there's nothing in there.
There's nothing in there.
Right.
So if like you had like a kind of a panic room in your house, I would get one of these.
An X-Men
Right?
panic, yeah.
Absolutely.
Just jump
Someone's
inside.
breaking in, get in the control panel.
Everybody in
and
the
just hide.
X-Men, yeah, hurry up.
Right. I think for a tornado or something, take shelter in the X-Men control panel.
Who needs a cellar when you've got a 6-player?
Right, this will do it.
But yeah, like Jay, like you said, so there's a monitor on the bottom, there's a monitor on the top,
Right.
and then there's a mirror that basically projects one over the other.
Right. And when we first put this together, John, we actually put the mirror in backwards.
Oh, really?
And so everything looked like it was distorted. It almost looked like the monitor focus was off. And I'm like, this can't be. I'm like, this monitor was perfect. The focus, everything was so tight. What the hell are we doing? And all I did was turn the monitor the other way, and everything looked perfect. I could not believe it. Because I think it's like a half silver mirror on one side, you know, for the reflective, and the other side's just glass. So we must have had it backwards. But yeah, it looks great now.
It's a very cool effect. And there was other games like Ninja Warrior or something.
Yeah.
And there's the shooter too.
Was it Darius, the 3-player one?
Yeah,
they have like
Darius,
3 monitors in it or something like that?
Yeah.
Yeah. They try to do that same thing.
Yeah, very cool game.
Yeah.
All right, over here you got a Point Blank by Namco.
Yes.
Which is a shooter I've always wanted.
Yeah.
Now Namco, made some really cool dedicated ones.
Right.
This looks like a Midway conversion.
It is Mortal Kombat 1 conversion.
Yeah.
Exactly. The original dedicated ones are super hard to find here in the U.S. I think. Right. I was looking for one, and I'm like, you know what, this is going to have to do. I'd love to get a dedicated one someday, but you know, people love the game. I mean, it's popular. You know, shoot 'em up. So.
Yeah, it's kind of quirky and just unique to itself, right?
Yeah.
Now I know in Providence you had these Dance Dance games,
right?
And everyone loved them.
They do. They're such a huge hit, John. I never knew. You know, I mean, you and I have been collecting arcade games for a long time. Obviously, this isn't our forte, right? We're not DDR players, but the amount of people that would come in and ask if we had a DDR machine, I was just blown away. So I got one, and then one turned into two turned into three. And it's a thing. Like, people love DDR.
Is this a game where like people kind of line up to play or spectate?
Absolutely. Tons of spectators. I mean, you get some really good players here in New England, which I had no clue there's a DDR scene
like
in
a
this.
Reddit, like the DDR.
Oh, absolutely. Like, these guys like grew up playing DDR and Dave & Buster's or whatever back in the 90s, wherever they had a cabinet. But they're still around today looking for a place to play. You know, and they're like, oh, all the DDR cabs are gone, or you know, the cabs are you know, the new versions and stuff. We want to play the original Extreme or Supernova, whatever. So they come here and they love it, you know, and they play it all night.
That's funny.
Yeah.
I like the fan. You added the fans?
I did. I added those little fans. The DDR players will appreciate, or they do appreciate. They tell me all the time. They're like, oh yeah, you know, we love that you have the fans there. You know, because they get hot and sweaty, right? So they loved having the fans here. So
that's funny.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, so let's go over here. So I see some Midway cabs with the Turtles on the left and Blitz 99.
Yeah.
And NBA Jam, obviously.
Right, the 4-player, you know, NBA Jam and Blitz. Gonna have those again. Those are, you know, you're gonna have an arcade. You have to have these games, you know.
So what I like about Blitz here is that a Nintendo 64?
That is, yes. That's the original Nintendo 64 reader.
So it's got an N64 memory slot.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So you can put an N64 memory card in here, and then could you bring that home and play it on the home version?
I think that was the whole point of it,
stats,
right? Yeah, the stats and everything. Like, you can just take it home and you know, upload it or whatever.
Yeah.
You know.
I've always liked that.
Yeah, you don't see these a lot. Like, a lot of times they've been, you know, removed and there's a big black piece of metal there or something, but this one's still here, so.
Yeah, I think that's really cool.
Yeah.
You know, I've never left my house with an N64 memory card. Even in 1999, I didn't, but I like the idea.
Yeah, yeah.
And Neo Geo did that too.
They did it too, yeah.
You know, I have the memory card reader in my Neo Geo, and you could have, I think in theory, brought it home to the MVS.
Yes, that's right, and upload or whatever your scores.
Or the AES, rather.
AES, yep.
Yeah.
Yep, yep.
So Blitz 99.
Yep.
NBA Jam, of course, gotta have that.
Yeah.
This is the original version, right?
This is, yeah. Yep, so a tournament upgrade, whatever, you know, you
want.
But yeah, this is a super popular game, both of these.
Great looking all original games.
Yeah.
And then behind you, you have a Turtles.
Yep, this Turtles.
Was this ours?
Yeah, this was ours, John. When we were first in Amherst, this was our one of our first games, if you remember right.
Yeah.
Yeah, we bought this a long time ago, back in like 2017.
And we still have a Turtles in Westfield? I don't remember.
No, we don't.
Okay, so you and I have owned 2 Turtles.
Correct.
I have one in my garage.
Yeah, you're restoring that, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Which does work.
Yeah.
I just need to wire the control panel.
Yeah.
But this one's all original. The one we had in Westfield was restored.
That's right. This is original. All original artwork, everything. So.
Yeah, I think for all original, this is a great Turtles.
Yeah.
Like, I would love
it's still
to have
in good shape.
Turtles. Yeah.
Yeah.
The artwork's fantastic for all original.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. All right, so you have some kind of newer drivers and sit-downs here.
Yes.
Sega Crazy Taxi. You and I own one of those.
We still have one in Amherst,
yeah.
right? Super popular. Again, I never knew there's so many Crazy Taxi fans out there. But yeah, people love it, and it gets played a ton. So gotta have it, right?
No, I'm a fan of that game.
Yeah. Like, you played it a lot back in the day, or?
I did. I like that game. There's something about driving, picking people up. I don't know. It just does it for me. I think I like games like that with a purpose.
Yeah.
You know, like
it's got a cool soundtrack. It's got the call-outs and everything like that. So it's a fun game.
Right.
It really is.
Now, this is Super Bikes Fast and Furious.
Right.
You and I have been talking about getting these.
Yes, for Amherst or.
I think we are actually getting them, right?
Yes.
So these are relatively new, right?
Yeah, early 2000s.
Early 2000s.
Yeah.
And we have the kind of big. There's no motion here. It's just kind of
rock.
gravity, right?
Yeah. You just rock back and forth, and that controls your, steering. kind of thing.
And it's got these kind of displays in here and stuff. Is that the speed?
Yeah, it's supposed to display different stuff when you're driving. And this is similar to the Nintendo 64 we were just looking at. You punch in your code, whatever your pin, and it comes up with all your stats, or you can save your stats, right?
Yeah.
And people do that all the time still. Like, they're still using that thing. I see it.
Really?
They're like, oh yeah, my stats are all up there, blah, blah, blah.
That's funny.
So.
And these days, they would probably have like some QR code you'd scan
just
with
scan
your phone.
it, yeah.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I like the cabinet, honestly. It's Raw Thrills. You know, we've been to the Raw Thrills, not factory, but one of their kind of warehouses.
Yeah.
If you guys want to see a past video, but I think they're doing cool stuff. It's Eugene Jarvis.
Yeah, it's his company, right?
Yeah.
And they're still making new Superbikes. I mean, they've had Superbikes 2, and I think they have Superbikes 3 now. Is that
Really?
right? Yeah, so they're still making this game. Yeah.
And it's all based on Fast and Furious.
Exactly, yep.
Very cool.
Yep.
So Arctic Thunder, you and I have these two in Amherst.
That's right, and in Westfield. We have them in both locations.
Yeah, so we have 4 of these together.
Yeah, these get played a lot.
They do.
People like Arctic Thunder. It's an older game from the 90s, but it still holds up. You know, people play it all the time.
No, I actually like this game. This game's like Mario Kart.
It is. Pre Mario Kart, yeah.
This is Mario Kart on snowmobiles.
Yes.
And there's power-ups, there's weapons on the map.
Right.
You know, you can launch and fire things with these buttons and stuff. The accelerator's here.
Midway really had a hit. I mean, they have the fan, right, that blows air in your face. They have the seats that vibrate. I mean, they really did a great job with this game.
Yeah, this game kind of has it all, honestly.
Yeah.
And the thing is, it's snowmobiling, which probably isn't relatable to a lot of people, but the core gameplay is literally like Mario Kart.
Yeah, oh yeah,
with all the bells and whistles. Like, this thing vibrates like crazy when you're playing.
You can shoot missiles,
yes.
I mean,
and there's ramps and turbo ramps and...
Right.
I like it. Right, Tim?
I like this game. Yeah, I don't know if I want to change the monitor.
Yeah, the monitors are really new. We've had to deal with that.
We've had some issues in Amherst with them, yeah. So the sister game to Arctic Thunder, obviously Hydro Thunder. I don't know, I don't remember playing this a lot when I was, you know, in my, 20s. I used to play Arctic Thunder, but this was always right next to it. I remember, and I would never play Hydro Thunder, but people have said, hey, you ever gonna get Hydro Thunder? I love that game. You know, would you get Hydro Thunder? So I said, all right, I'll try it. And we'll see.
It does well. So what's the what's the shifter and the boost and all that? What's going on here?
Yeah, so it's just like full stop and then back, right? I mean, so like that's neutral and then full forward and then back, right? And then you can get a boost as you're driving around or whatever, and then you hit the button to basically hit the boost button to turbo, over the ramps or whatever, right? But yeah, it's a pretty fun game, especially when you're playing 2-player, competitive. It's fun.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind. Is this less fighting than that? This is more racing.
More racing, yeah. I would say more racing.
This
totally.
is basically cruising USA on water.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because Arctic Thunder is really more of a combat game.
Yeah, Arctic Thunder can get a little brutal if you're going at it. 2 players.
So Cruising Exotica, these are the dedicated ones, right?
Right. We run these again in both Amherst and Westfield, and they get played a ton. That's our only sit-down driving game, but people love the Cruising series, right? So I figured I'd try these here too.
Yeah, I like these cabinets, and they're a little more deluxe than the Cruisins we have with this display, and there's a little tachometer and PSI. What is that?
Pressure, probably engine pressure or something, or tire pressure. I don't know. Yeah, I think you're right. I think it says fuel. I don't know, maybe tire pressure or whatever.
PSI would be for your turbo boost.
Oh, turbo.
Oh.
That's why Tim's here.
That's right.
Yeah.
I see. So once your turbo meter basically fills with that meter, you can launch it. Is that what happens?
All right.
Cool. Definitely, iconic racers without doubt.
Yeah.
And then over here, Simpsons.
Yep. This
is kind of your Konami section. Yeah, we had
this in Amherst.
Is this our Simpsons?
This is the one we had in Amherst. That's right. Yep.
It's funny. We didn't really find the Konami games did really well.
Right. You're right. We had high hopes, right? Yeah. Everyone was like, oh yeah, 4-player Konami games. They're gonna get played a ton. They did okay, but I don't think they lived up to what our expectations were, right?
No.
We found that there's other games that do much better, like Arctic Thunder or Cruisin',
or Time Crisis.
Or Time Crisis.
The big Time Crisis.
Exactly. Yeah. Than these 4-player,
But the thing is, we do a different business model because we're charging per play.
That's right.
This is free play. right?
Correct. And people will play these games all the way to the very end. I've heard that so many times, for free.
Yes.
They'll sit here for a half an hour. And they'll say, I've never beat Turtles. I've never beat Simpsons. I finally get the chance to do it because I didn't have to put quarters in every 5 minutes, you know?
Exactly.
So totally different business model. And these get played a lot more, I would say, here than, you know, the coin-operated version. So.
Yeah. And then a Super Sprint, Atari.
Yeah, I want to show you.
Res.
I don't know if you can see the little mod down there that my friend Mark did.
LEDs, huh?
So he added the blue, the red, and the yellow LED strips.
That's clean.
To match. Yeah, it really came out really nice to match the blue, red, and yellow up top.
So is this all reproduction art? It's super clean.
Yeah.
This has to be.
Yeah, this is. So this is actually, believe it or not, a reproduction cabinet.
It's a Higgy Baby special.
Yeah, our friend Mark, Higgy Baby, made this whole entire bottom cabinet. The top is the original, you know, monitor half, but the bottom is all brand new. The bottom that I had for this cabinet originally was kind of beat, waterlogged, so he went in and just created a brand new bottom half of the cabinet for me. All new artwork.
And this is basically Paperboy hardware, right?
It is. It's identical. It's like a ROM swap, medium res monitor, like you said. But fun. I mean, people love this game, John. I mean, it's classic Atari 3-player, right? So it's a ton of fun.
It's basically RC kart racing.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Kind of the precursor to the Ivan Stewart game.
Yes.
You know?
Yes. Yeah.
All right, so over here, Jay, we'll start on this end and work our way down to the left. Golden Tee Complete and Silver Strike Bowling.
Right. Again,
two games I actually love a lot.
Yeah.
And I need one of those monitors. So which one can I take?
We'll get you a 27-inch medium res. No problem. No problem, John. We got because yours is getting dim. You were saying.
Mine's horrible. Yeah.
Okay.
That Silver Strike monitor is fantastic.
It is. It is a beautiful. It really is a nice monitor. Yeah, so these, like you said, anybody will play these games. Like there can be somebody that comes in to free play and they don't like any video games, but they'll come and play Golden Tee or Silver Strike. They'll find this and they'll stay there all night and just hang out on these two games. So you have to have these, right? And I can put these anywhere in the arcade. It doesn't matter. People will find them. They'll sniff them out, and they'll just stay there.
Is that right? So people are seeking these out. Like, I mean, Golden Tee to me is more of a household name than Silver Strike.
Oh, yeah,
Do people really know Silver Strike? You find?
Yeah, there's a lot of
bowling.
A lot of people will come in and they won't maybe ask for Silver Strike, but they'll say, "Where's the bowling game?" Like, and I'll move them around all the time, like to kind of like mess with people. Yeah, they'll find it. It doesn't matter where I put it. Like they'll sniff this stuff out.
That's
it's crazy.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And Silver Strike has like the Nighthawk computer system.
That's right.
And Golden Tee has the old school
old PCB with the hard drive, right.
With the 3DFX video card.
That's correct. Yeah.
So the Nighthawk is pretty reliable.
Yeah, it's pretty. You got to keep it cool. It gets hot in there. As long as the fan's going, it's fine. It's very reliable. Yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah.
I love this Street Fighter, man. So this is like the cool, dedicated kind of big blue.
The big blue, yeah. And I think this one was converted. You can see to a Tekken at one point. I didn't take the artwork. I just left it there. But yeah, I put it back to the Hyper Fighting Street Fighter 2. So, but yeah, very cool cabinet. People love the big blue space. You can just, the Dynamo is cool too, but there's something about the big blue that really stands out.
No, I agree. I mean, I have the Z-Back, the red one, which I do like a lot. But this to me is really the dedicated.
Yeah. If you're gonna play it, like this is the way to go.
Yeah. Very cool.
Yeah.
Tekken 3.
Yeah, a lot of requests for Tekken. I wasn't a Tekken guy growing up, but a lot of people come in and do you have Tekken? And I guess Tekken 3 or Tekken 4 is the one to have, That's what I'm told.
And this is a conversion.
This I think MK2 conversion.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what it looks like. Or MK2.
And Mortal Kombat 3?
Yeah. This was an MK1 conversion, but nicely done. It's okay for a conversion, so.
It's okay. It makes sense. There's a Mortal Kombat and a Mortal Kombat.
Right. They kept it in the family, I guess, right? Mortal Kombat 2, original dedicated. Yeah. Really nice monitor in this one. I mean, this is just like, again, if you're going to have a fighter, you have to have Street Fighter 2 and Mortal Kombat 2. Those are the two to have, right?
So do you find in Providence that people gravitate more towards Street Fighter or Mortal Kombat or even Tekken?
Always Mortal Kombat and always Street Fighter. Tekken, there's diehards, right, that come in and they remember Tekken.
They're kind of outliers.
Yeah, or Killer Instinct is another one.
Yeah.
But I also get a lot of requests for the MVC2, Marvel vs. Capcom 2. That's another one that, again, I didn't remember playing too much, but people ask for it all the time. And Street Fighter 3 Third Strike, which is in the candy cab we'll go look at later. That's another one that I didn't really know about, and people are like, no, you gotta have that. Like
Really?
that's the fighter to have. Like that's the fighter. I'm like, okay,
Huh.
whatever you say, I'll get it.
Isn't that game worth pretty good money on one of the console systems as far as the collector market goes?
Which one?
Marvel vs. Capcom 2? Maybe on PlayStation 2?
I'm not sure, yeah.
I'd have to
I know
check.
the Third Strike hardware is probably the most expensive hardware in all of the fighting games.
I believe it.
It uses that Capcom CPS-3. There's only like 7 or 8 games that came out on that system, but the Street Fighter 3 Third Strike is the only one you want. And so that system goes for big bucks. Yeah.
Yeah, I remember looking into that.
Yeah.
Like I was trying to figure out like what's the newest Street Fighter I could get.
That's the one to
before
have.
it gets stupid.
Right.
And I think that's the stupid point.
Third Strike
Okay.
is. Yeah, that's the one that gets stupid.
All right, Moon Patrol, gotta have that.
Yeah.
Williams Classic, really nice dedicated cabinet. I used to. Is this mine?
It might be, John.
Is it?
It might be. I'm not really sure.
Like I don't know where my Moon Patrol.
You had
went.
one in your basement?
No, this is mine. This really feels right.
You think
dude.
so? You got your initials carved in somewhere on the side?
It feels familiar.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know if this is mine. Did you take my Moon Patrol?
I don't think so.
No?
No, I don't think I did.
Well, it's a nice dedicated one.
It is.
Which I had.
Yeah. I really love these Williams games. You know, they can be a pain in the ass to keep running sometimes, but they're pretty. Once you fine tune them and you go through them, they're pretty rock solid. And you know, there's the diehards that come in and play Robotron. Or Joust or Defender, and then they're like, oh, you got Sinistar? Oh, you got Moon Patrol? You know, like those are like bonus games, you know.
And Moon Patrol was a game that was licensed from Irem.
That's right, yeah.
And so the sign, so Irem did like Kung Fu, right?
That's right.
Yeah. So the sounds in this remind me of Kung Fu a little bit.
They do.
Yes.
Yeah, good job, Tim.
Yeah.
You missed a spot.
But I actually, when I was a kid, I truly thought this was the most amazing game ever.
Yeah, I remember playing this on, was it 2600 or Coleco?
Yeah,
what had it?
I think I had it on 26. I played the arcade version a lot, but I genuinely love me some Moon Patrol.
Yeah.
I still do. I think the game's fantastic.
Yeah.
Now, Sinistar is a game I never got. Always considered it. It's kind of a harder core space shooter where you're kind of mining asteroids.
Right.
It's weird, right?
And you got this guy that taunts you, the Sinistar guy, right? Throughout the game. And so, you know, you could be playing it and all of a sudden you hear his voice and it kind of, you know, freaks you out for a lot of people. Yeah, he's chasing you kind of thing, you know?
And the Cinnabomb, not to be confused with Cinnabon.
Cinnabomb, yes. That's how you destroy Sinistar, yeah.
Yeah, I like the vertical monitor. Is this 49-way joystick? What was this joystick? Is this 49-way?
I think that is 49-way.
Yeah, right?
Yeah, so is Bubbles. I think it's 49-way. Is that right? I don't know.
Bubbles had an optical joystick?
Oh, that's right. Bubbles is optical. Okay. Yes.
And this is
49-way. Yes.
Yeah. Which is it just leaf switches? How is it keeping track of the position?
I don't know. Should we take a look?
Yeah,
let's
I'm
open it
actually
up.
curious about it because I remember playing this with the 8-way with my was the J-Rock board. It was fine.
Okay.
I'm staying with Bubbles, but I remember Williams was doing kind of like weird joystick trickery. Yes.
Oh, so this is optical. Yeah. So this has got the optic. Right, it's this. They call that the spider thing, and then the optics. I don't know if you can see them, John. They're down here.
Is this repro?
No, this is all original.
Is it really?
Yeah,
it's super clean.
Yeah, see the optics are on this side.
Oh yeah.
And when I move,
I totally get it.
It breaks the light, and that's how it detects you know which direction you're moving. So there's 3 on this side, and there's 3 on the bottom, which you probably can't see. But yeah, so. By the way, these little spider rubber grommets, they're notorious for breaking over time, especially after 30 years.
Is it repros?
Yeah, there are repros. There's a guy that's doing them that you can find online if yours ever breaks. But yeah, same thing used in Bubbles.
I always like this too. You know,
I know.
Williams is a pinball company.
Yeah.
Okay. So there you go. There's your pinball bulbs.
The attention to detail, though, like how cool is that? Like they light up, you know, these translucent, you know, buttons.
They had a lot of 4.4 and 5.55s bulbs laying around, right?
Totally did. From the pinball era,
Yeah, I really like that. I do like Williams cabinets. You know, Robotron I have in the basement. Yeah. Which I got from you, right?
Yes, you did. That's right. 720 and Robotron.
Yeah.
We did a trade for Star Wars and something else. I can't remember.
720.
720 and Robotron, and I think I got your Bubbles conversion. Remember?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a Bubbles. It was a Bubbles cabinet that had been painted
with J-Rock on it.
That's right. Yes, that was the trade we did a long time ago.
Yeah. I mean, Robotron to me is probably Williams' best game, honestly.
Yeah.
I don't think I'm totally in the minority, but that's my opinion of it. I just think it's perfection.
Yeah.
It's Eugene Jarvis's, you know...
This is baby, right?
Amazing, yeah.
Yeah.
And I just think the gameplay is so fun still today. I mean, Joust is also outstanding. I loved Joust when I was a kid, too.
Yeah, yeah.
I used to play this on my Atari 800 XL.
Oh, did you really?
Yeah, a lot. They had an amazing port on that computer.
And Joust was really good, yeah.
Yeah, and yours is this repro?
That is repro, yeah.
Okay.
So funny story, both of these games were converted, both Robotron and Joust when I picked them up, and I had to deconvert these because I didn't want, this was like a multi-Williams that somebody used like Clay's kit and, you know, hacked the control panel and had all those extra buttons, and so I took all that stuff out. I put the original hardware back in, and so yeah, so this is, you know, some reproduction artwork, and marquee is reproduction.
I think that's the right move, ultimately.
Yeah, I wanted to keep it original. Same thing with Robotron. This was converted to something else, and I had to deconvert it all and make it a Robotron again. So, but I put all the original hardwares back, all the original Williams hardware, no J-Rock or anything like that.
Yeah, I did the same thing, really, when I traded you my bubbles.
Right.
I had the multi-Williams. Yeah. I had all these games.
Yeah.
But I really just wanted the dedicated Robotron.
So you converted it back,
with the real hardware,
right?
with the real sticks.
Yeah.
Not bumping into buttons that are
it's too much.
Yeah.
So those multi-Williams control panels, I feel like there's too much going on.
I agree with you. I like the dedicated better, you know?
Yeah.
Defender, I do love Defender.
We were just talking about how hard it is to keep these games, and it looks like Defender is starting a RAM problem growing or something going on there, so you can see the line. That shouldn't be there in the middle.
It's kind of known for that, right?
Yeah.
What was the RAM they're using?
The 4116s, which you can upgrade to 4164s.
You got to jump the voltage.
Correct. Yeah. The 4116s use 5, -5, and 12, and they get very hot. So the trick is, to jump use the 4164s and jump the 5-volt line, and then you're golden after that. So, so we'll have to tackle this. Tim, where are you?
I'm right here.
All right, yeah, we'll get right on that.
Are you going to put sockets for all the RAM and do that?
I don't know. You know, we'll look and see how many 4164s I guess I have lying around and see if we can do something quick, or we just replace the one RAM that's failing to 4116s.
Yeah, I do like Defender and Stargate, you know.
Yeah.
It was such a popular, iconic game at the time.
And Defender was hard, right?
It was hard.
Because all these buttons.
Well, yeah, this came out in 1980, you know.
Yeah.
So I was a kid, like a really young kid when this came out.
Yeah.
But yes, like the up-down reverse thing, and then like disappearing was hyperspace.
Yeah.
And the smart bomb thrust fire. This was like being on the space shuttle, you know, as a kid.
Yeah.
Like all these controls.
And you got to memorize like the finger movement, like to the various buttons. Like I always make a mistake and hit like the silent bomb, or smart bomb, I should say, when I want to really do thrust, and I'm like, oh shit, I just used up my smart bomb.
Yeah.
You know, I do that all the time.
All right, so over here, I do like this though, like this old boiler works.
Yeah, so they left this in the building. They moved it from where the original boiler was, and they just kind of put it on this wall, but they kept the original boiler that used to power this mill, or the heat for this mill, 1905 from Worcester. Yeah.
It's kooky.
Really cool artifact, you know? It's like...
This is so heavy, dude.
Yeah, well, it's like solid, what? Like,
iron.
Yeah.
But I don't understand how this wood door is holding. Is this wood, or is this metal?
No, I think that's metal too, yeah.
Yeah. It's cool. I mean, listen, there's a lot of these old kind of mill buildings in New England that have been repurposed now, and they're breweries and barcades and offices.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
But 100 years ago, these were all textile mills and stuff.
Right, cranking out fabric and,
making guns.
Yeah,
literally,
totally.
Like Springfield,
So this, I think, I heard was a rubber factory at one point. Like they were producing like radiator hoses or something like that out of this building, which is crazy.
And when we went to visit Riggy, and Dan, in the last video, this didn't come up, I don't think, in the video.
No, I don't think we talked about it earlier.
That used to be a Playtex, right?
Tampon.
It was a tampon factory.
Tampon factory, yeah.
Yeah, it's true.
Really?
Yeah, the Western Mass Pinball Club is in an old mill like this.
An old tampon.
And it used to be
it was the world headquarters for Tampax.
Tampax, that's it, yeah.
World headquarters.
Right?
Yeah.
Well, isn't that funny?
Right.
Next time I see Ricky, I'll have to talk to him.
Yeah, there you go, Tim.
All right, so Taito's Kicks, I used to have this game.
Yeah?
I actually really like this game.
It's fun.
and it's running on the same hardware as Zookeeper.
Zookeeper, right.
Which is notoriously horrible.
So I have a confession. This is running a J-Rock board because of that very point, John.
Yeah.
Keeping the original hardware, both the Zookeeper and the kicks, is just a nightmare. So this is one of the games that I'm like, you know what, I'm not going to even take any chances. I'm just going to put J-Rock in it.
And a big part of that is the RAM, too.
Correct.
Same
RAM, 4116 RAM. Yep. It's too hot, and it just fails. So,
Right.
but you know, I never knew this was like a sleeper game at Freeplay in Providence, and then one day I noticed like the same 2 or 3 people just kept playing this game over and over and over and like competing against each other to the point where the scores got so high, like these guys were almost unable to outdo each other anymore. Like they're really good at it.
Is that right?
Yeah, it's nuts.
So you said you have which board?
This is the J-Rock board. This is running, it runs kicks and Zookeeper.
Is it JAMA or with an adapter?
It's JAMA. It's JAMA. I have all the original wiring, but I have an adapter that converts it to JAMA. So I didn't rip anything out. This is all original still. I just put the adapter in with the J-Rock board.
And you could switch to Zookeeper?
Yes. Yeah, you can hold, I think if you hold these 2 buttons down or something, or I might have disabled it, but it goes into the menu where you can choose Zookeeper as well. Yep.
All right, so Taito Jungle Hunt, I used to have this game too.
Yeah.
This is a game I absolutely adored as a kid.
Yeah?
Yeah, and there was Jungle Hunt and Jungle King.
Right.
Jungle King they pretty much went for Tarzan with Jungle King.
Right.
And then the Tarzan people said, yeah, you can't do that.
So they changed to Jungle Hunt, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But this is actually the Jungle King guy right here.
Okay. So this is running, did they change the
yes,
character too? Oh, they did? Okay.
Yeah, the Jungle Hunt guy has the pith hat.
Oh, right.
With the monocle.
Yes, I've seen that.
And the Jungle King guy is the Tarzan looking guy.
Okay. So I should put the Jungle King marquee with this board.
But then you need the Jungle King.
Oh, the control panel to go with it. I got it. Okay.
Jungle King has way more
Appeal.
vibrant, crazy Tarzan art.
I got it.
And Jungle Hunt was kind of like
dumbed down.
We gotta do something really fast.
Yeah, got it.
You know?
Yeah. All right. Well, I'll look out to see if I can convert it.
Look at the board, Jungle
King. Right. All right.
Yeah.
Thanks, John, for that little piece of trivia.
Yeah, I love this game. I used to play that at a roller skating rink, and it was one of my favorite games. The problem with the game, though, is that there's like 4 levels, and then
it just repeats.
Yeah.
Now, when you played when you were growing up, did they have Jungle King or Jungle Hunt? Do you remember?
I seem to remember both, to be honest.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh.
At different places.
Huh. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
Jungle King's the one to have.
Okay. I'll be on the lookout for the Jungle King marquee, and maybe this.
And I believe that when I got mine, it was Jungle Hunt, and I immediately converted to Jungle King.
Yep. You don't have yours anymore?
No, I don't.
Is this it?
No, no, because mine was converted to Jungle King fully.
Okay.
All right. So Gyrus, another game I used to have. I do like this game a lot too.
Yeah.
This side art is always kind of...
Yeah, lots of initials and...
Yeah, it's pretty typical.
Yeah.
But this is a really cool Century game.
Yeah.
Same, well not the same profile, but a similar
Very
profile
similar,
to,
track and field, but same I think as Circus Charlie. I think Circus Charlie is the same cabinet.
Yeah, track and field, they basically added these notches so you can kind of be left
is that
and
what
right.
this? Yeah. So you can get your hands
Gives you a
in
little
it.
more space.
Yep, good idea.
But I really like this, and this has another one of these kind of...
That's called a Monroe, right?
Monroe, yeah, you're right, yeah. And Time Pilot had the same joystick.
Right.
And this is just a series of leaf switches.
Leaf switches, but you can go like in a circular motion.
But there's no like restrictor.
Right.
There's no like 8-way or 4-way restrictor.
Right,
you can kind of really go full.
Which you kind of need in this game.
Yeah.
Playing Gyrus, you need that full range of motion.
Yeah, I really dig Gyrus.
Yeah.
I like the game.
I love the sound in Gyrus.
Yeah, they're using that kind of classical music.
Yeah.
But kind of rocked up. I don't know if you guys can hear it. Yeah, it's a cool shooter. It's like Galaga on a wheel, you know?
Yeah.
Fun game. Track and field, another game I used to love.
Funny story. So this is a brand new repro overlay, right? Mm-hmm. This will probably last like 2 months. Honestly, the thumb, like from the run, however they do it, your thumb or imprint over here just eventually wears this down in no time. I mean, I guarantee you, if we come back and film like 2 months after we open, this will be all worn out right here.
No kidding.
Oh yeah. In Providence, it wore out like that. I'm like, this is a brand new overlay. How did that happen? They beat the hell out of it.
So do you have people who like is there like a group of track and field guys that all stick together and...
Tim's one of those guys.
Oh really?
Tim, can you show quickly how you do the run? Yeah. You don't have to play a game, but just show how you do the, watch his hands.
Let it go. Watch Hector fly do it.
Well, yeah, I mean, Hector's been in my videos before. That guy, and same with Don.
Not Don Hayes.
Yeah,
no.
Don Hayes.
Don Hayes.
Don Hayes is a he's amazing at
really?
track and field.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Wow. He's played it at
But
your house
Hector's
before?
like the guy. Yeah, Don's been to my house.
Yeah. Yeah. Hector's got the. Has he got the world record or something?
He has many times.
Wow.
Yeah, I think Hector's the guy.
Wow.
Yeah. All right, Circus Charlie. This was always on my list.
No kidding.
Never got it.
Huh.
I do think though, if I eventually did get it, it would probably get stale quick.
Yeah.
I do have this game on my Pac-Mame cabinet, and
Oh, you do?
it plays perfectly fine.
Oh, yeah.
You know,
Stick with it. Yeah.
It's probably. I mean, there's nothing about the game that requires the dedicated. Honestly,
no.
But I do kind of like the
It's
quirkiness.
quirky. Yeah. It's got some quirky artwork
It's
and everything.
silly.
Yeah.
You know, you're jumping over monkeys. I don't know what's happening.
It's like
That's another Monroe, but with a restrictor, because it only goes
left,
left and right.
Yeah.
So it doesn't go up down. Yeah. Yep.
But yeah, I do kind of like the cartoon.
This cabinet was in. Do you remember Pinball Wizard, Sarah's place up in New Hampshire? So when she was closing down, this was one of the cabinets that I grabbed before.
No kidding.
Yeah.
I haven't heard from her in a long time. Is she still operating at all?
No, but she's repairing. So she's doing
Okay.
a lot of pinball repairs and video game repairs. So.
Yeah, we did a video at Pinball Wizard in New Hampshire, and that was pretty impressive, honestly.
Yeah.
She has a serious collection.
Oh yeah, she really does.
All right, so Super Punch-Out, Jay.
So this is actually running Punch-Out now. I changed the board, but I haven't changed the marquee and the control panel. This was your cabinet, John.
Is mine?
Yes, was your cabinet.
And this is my Rust-Oleum oil base. It looks pretty good, honestly.
It's pretty good. Listen, I apologize. We had a little mishap, and we would have to fill that and paint it. But other than that, it's survived. It's done well. Now it's living here in Worcester.
That's funny.
Yeah.
So there's probably like 10 coats of oil-based paint on this. I kept adding more and more. I'm like, oh, it's not smooth enough. Let's try it again.
Put another layer on. Yeah.
Using it almost looks like it's laminated.
It's smooth now, John.
Right?
You did a great job.
I used a foam roller.
Yeah.
With oil-based paint. And
you can't even.
It seems like it's laminated.
It really does.
Yeah, that's paint.
And you didn't have to sand it or anything after you.
I might have sanded it a little bit.
Yeah.
But it was. I kept going with a lighter and lighter touch as I went along.
Okay.
Right.
It came out great.
Yeah. No, it did.
Yeah. Good job.
It's funny. Someone emailed me last week wanting to know what the value of a Super Punch-Out was.
Oh.
Because he had a fully restored one.
Oh, really?
I didn't know how to answer it because I haven't really been looking in a long time.
Yeah.
2-3 grand?
Yeah, I would say 2,500 is probably in the range.
That was my instinct, but I wasn't positive, so I didn't say it.
I think regular Punch-Outs are going for around 12 to 15.
Yeah.
But Super Punch-Out, the board alone is worth 1,000, I would say. So,
Right.
I think 2,500 is probably the mark.
And this has the...
It does, yeah. So it has the duck and pull there, joystick.
So there's an extra switch, a leaf switch.
Right, yeah.
Right? When you pull this up, it hits that switch.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yep. But I wanted to make it a regular Punch-Out because I feel like, I don't know, the regular Punch-Out was the one most people remember, right, in the arcades?
Yes.
Like Super Punch-Out came out afterwards as an upgrade or, whatever, sequel. But most people remember the original Punch-Out, so that's what I wanted to put here. So I'm going to change the marquee to regular Punch-Out, and I'll probably change the control panel back, and it'll be a Punch-Out again.
Yeah, I think it's a better move.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, Jay. Next game.
Yeah, play choice.
Dedicated.
Dedicated, original play choice. What do we got in here? Dr. Mario, Castlevania, Contra, Mega Man. Some of the heavy hitters, right? Everybody remembers from Nintendo. This is kind of like the catch-all. When somebody comes in and they're like, hey, do you have this Nintendo? And I'm just like, well, I don't have like the original, like there's no dedicated cabinet for Mega Man, but I have it here. Like another one is like, Contra. Yeah, you can find a dedicated Contra, but you don't see very many of them around here, right? So it's like, there's one of the play choice. Go play Contra in there, So.
And if you're not aware, this is an NES.
Right.
It's a timed NES.
Right.
This is not the arcade versions of anything.
No.
It has little cartridges
that
you put in.
Yep.
They're basically the NES cartridges stripped of the PCB
taken out of the case,
different.
decased,
But this is literally the NES versions of these games, and it runs on a timer.
Right.
And normally you see this in this cabinet.
Right.
Converted.
Correct.
With the top monitor,
the top and the bottom.
with the menu
Right.
or instructions, I think,
Yeah,
right?
it's instructions.
And the game on the bottom.
Kind of boring.
Yeah.
What a waste. 2 monitors.
The dedicated one is the one to get. I used to have one of these.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, I did. I really liked it. but it's gone.
Well, you know what it is? A lot of these games got harder and harder to find or became very collectible, like some of these cartridges, and the prices were just going sky high. So I think there's a guy that actually, you know, makes some carts now that weren't original PlayChoice carts, if I'm not mistaken. Like you can get Legend of Zelda now, which never came out on PlayChoice, like in the cartridge. And he was able to make them, so you can get those games now, the Nintendo games that a lot of people remember, and you can put them in PlayChoice.
Well, can't you put the NES cartridges on the board?
I think there's is there like a converter card or something like that
Well,
you
don't
can
you
get?
remember there was that guy, I think in Colorado, that made the Zelda cabinet?
Yes, I do.
The gold one that sold for a lot.
Yes.
It was really well done.
Yes.
I forget his name. I've met him several times, but he did an amazing job.
I've seen that cabinet.
And I think he was...
Was he making the cartridges?
Maybe he had he might have had the console in there, not PlayStation. I don't really know, to be honest.
Yeah.
But I'm pretty sure there is a mod to run the cartridges right on this hardware.
Yes, they do have that, and they also do it for the Nintendo Super System, where you can run Super Nintendo games similar, like in a PlayChoice fashion, in that as well. So, but yeah, so some really cool Nintendo classics that maybe you couldn't get for PlayChoice now, you can now get to run here.
And so the Goonies is totally different than the Versus version, which I have.
Right.
This is like the one that was released in America on the NES.
Okay.
Whereas Goonies on the Versus was like the Japanese
much harder, right?
Version. Yeah. It's just a totally different game.
Yeah.
Oh no, this is the same.
This is like the Versus version?
Yeah. That's interesting. Isn't it? Yeah, it is. There's another
version of Goonies somewhere?
I'm confused now.
Huh.
I'll have to look into that.
All right.
All right, well, scratch what I said about Goonies.
Goonies is Goonies. Everywhere.
All right, so Castlevania, now this is the Versus version.
This, yes. Now,
not NES.
Right. This is real.
Very similar.
Right. Real Nintendo versus hardware running versus Castlevania. This artwork is not original. It did not come from Nintendo. Somebody, made this aftermarket for these cabinets, and I think it looks a lot better than what Nintendo came out with.
It's amazing.
It was, 10 times better. I mean, Nintendo just had a black tinted plexiglass in a crappy marquee that was, garbage. This is much better. It just looks a lot nicer, And
honestly, it's believable.
Yeah, it is. I've got people that come in and say, "Oh, I didn't know they made a arcade version of Castlevania. I've never seen this before." Right. I'm like, well,
they did.
They did, just didn't look like this.
Not with the art package.
Right.
And we should point out too, this is the conversion.
Correct.
Nintendo versus kit.
Yes.
Which is in a Donkey Kong style cabinet.
Right. And you can actually see the art on the side. See that Versus Unisystem kind of?
Yeah.
That was a conversion kit, right? That came. Put the artwork on it.
And they did have a dedicated Versus cabinet, which was actually more like this.
And it's gray.
But gray.
Right, it's gray, yes. Yeah. Did you have one of those?
I did.
Oh. Did you get rid of that?
I converted that to Raid on Bungling Bay.
Oh.
And it went to Will Wright.
Okay, I remember you telling me about that. Yeah, that's cool. That's cool.
Again, Super Mario Brothers with fictional artwork.
Yes.
Well, this is pretty much the
It's
right
close,
one.
but you know what happens? These always turn yellow and fade, and they look horrible.
Yeah. It's more of a yellowing issue.
Yeah, it looks horrible. So this is reproduction. Same guy that did the Castlevania, Joe Zabo, and he did the bezel too. Looks a lot better than the original.
So I imagine this gets a ton of play.
Oh, everybody plays this. And they always leave after 5 seconds. They play it and then they walk away.
Really?
Oh yeah, all the time. Like they play the first level and then they're done.
So Donkey Kong 3, I love it. Kind of the lesser known Donkey Kong.
Yeah.
But it's a cool game. It has Stanley instead of Mario.
Yep.
It plays like Galaga, basically.
Very similar,
It's a shooter.
Yeah. Fun game. A lot of people like it better than Donkey Kong Jr., from what I've heard.
Yeah. The people that know it and get it, love it.
Yeah. Yeah. Like I had to make a choice between Donkey Kong Jr. and Donkey Kong 3, and I chose Donkey Kong 3.
Right. I probably like Junior more.
You do?
Yeah, I think so. I have more nostalgia for it, but I like 3.
Yeah.
And obviously Donkey Kong.
Right.
I don't need to say anything more. I love that it's the first game, Jay.
It has to be.
Yes.
I mean, strategically
And
placed,
Pac-Man.
Pac-Man, Galaga, Donkey Kong, all as soon as you walk in, the first thing you see, right? And if you noticed, I kind of bundle my games based on manufacturer, which some people like, why, just mix them all up. Like, that's how it was in the arcades. They're all randomly,
I like it.
I like it. It just gives a more clean look, But for me, it's just better feel.
And it's a little bit era-based, too.
Correct. Yes.
So it all makes sense to me.
Yes.
So obviously dedicated Pac-Man with
Yeah.
a dedicated Galaga next to it.
Yep.
Two of the most iconic games
Of all time.
Period.
Yeah, right in
You
the
know?
front as soon as you walk in. And these are probably two of the nicest Pac-Man and Galagas I had. So I try to, get the ones with the artwork that looks, it's all original, looks good still, and put them right up front. So.
Yeah, super nice. I guess before we continue on the Midway, let's.
Yeah.
Yeah, these cute.
Oh yeah. Let's talk about
candy
these.
cabs.
Yeah. So these are SEGA Blast City cabinets. Candy cabs, very Japanese fighting cabinets you see all the time. We don't have too many here in the Northeast. So when people do come and see them, they're excited because they can play their fighting games on a candy cab. This is the third strike we were talking about earlier. So this is like, one of the harder to find Street Fighters in the series. The hardware is, expensive. But out of all the fighting games, John, the hardcore, Street Fighter players will come and plant themselves on this game all night. They'll just sit here and play for hours. And people will come in and kind of like have a tournament, from time to time. So.
Wasn't there like a big candy cab scene like in Framingham or something? Like
Yes,
a video store or
that's
something?
right. There was
Okay.
a place, I don't think it's there anymore though. I don't know if it was in Framingham or somewhere in
Was it
Massachusetts.
like a comic book store or something? Or I don't know what it was.
Was it in Framingham? There's
Near it.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yes, no, you're right. It's I forgot the name of it. It's slipping my mind right now. But yes, they had a whole bunch of candy cabinets. And some of them might be here now that I think about
really?
it. Yeah, Game Underground, was that the place?
I think that's what I'm thinking.
Yeah, it was in Natick, I think. Yeah, it was in Natick.
Okay.
In the mall, and then they moved recently to Waltham. But these are some of the cabinets I think were there at one time. So.
And these are the SEGA Blast Cities.
Correct. Yep. 27-inch monitors.
I mean, these are just generic JAMA cabinets at the end of the day.
Right.
With a kick harness, extra buttons and all that.
But they do have a capability, I think, where you can link two together. Like you see sometimes they're back to back. And so if people are having tournaments and fighting, you can actually play against,
Yes, I've seen that in Hong Kong.
Right.
Where it's a two-player game.
Right.
Each person has their own monitor and chair and everything.
Correct.
The whole cabinet.
But your opponent is on the other side playing the cabinet behind or something.
And it behaves the exact same way as if they were sitting next to each other in the same way.
Correct.
Same side. Yeah, I've seen that.
Yep.
Yeah, I really dig those. I've always kind of wanted to get a Blast City or any kind of candy cab.
Yeah.
It's not just something that comes up on the East Coast, to be honest. There's a big scene in California.
Totally, because they import them from Japan.
Yeah.
And they wind up on the West Coast, and then every now and then they'll send some here to the East Coast for us.
Yeah. It's funny how that works, though, because they just don't come to the East Coast.
Yeah, you don't see them around here too much.
All right, so here we go. Burger Time. I adore that game.
You still have? Do you have one of these?
I will never get rid of it.
Okay.
As of now, I'll never get rid of it.
Yeah.
My wife loves it too, so.
It's a fun game.
Yeah, I really like Burger Time a lot. The pepper button, always worn out.
These are pretty good.
These are original?
Yeah, I think they are, John.
Wow.
Yeah, I think they're still, they'll probably be worn out in a few months.
Yeah.
Like that track and field overlay.
Yeah, I really dig that game. It's a Bally Midway game, but it's really a Data East game.
Correct, yeah.
It was a licensing deal.
Yeah.
Yeah, I totally dig it. The Data East artwork's actually kind of better, but they're trying to make like their kind of own Mario or something.
Yeah.
Peter Pepper.
Yeah. Data East, they do have that cabinet right now. Does that run, is there like a Deco cassette too?
Yes, there's a Deco version of.
Right? Is that run on the cassette thing, or is that, am I thinking of something else?
No, that's what the Deco
one.
is, the cassette.
It's a cassette, right? And the game code is on the cassette? Is that how it works?
I'm pretty sure I have the Deco marquee.
Oh, you do?
Yeah, for this game in my basement somewhere.
Huh.
But I've always kind of wanted that Data East Deco version of this.
It's a fun game. One thing about the hardware, though, you may have seen this. It uses that CPU module that's like, it's encased in like that glue or whatever it is, resin or something. So if something fails in there,
anti-piracy.
Yes, you have to take the whole thing apart and like melt it down in order to get in and fix it.
Do you mean on the Midway hardware or the Data East?
On the Data East hardware, which both this game and the one in Providence. Oh, actually, the one in Providence is on the Midway hardware, but the board sets that I have, for whatever reason, a lot of them are the Data East, and they all have that little like CPU module that's all glued together or something like that.
Right.
So it's a pain in the ass to.
So your high score is
it's all F.
0.
Yeah. Well, this is running. I think this is running Matt Osborne's high score save kit, and you have to initialize it. I think you have to like set a dip, shut it off, turn it back on, and then it'll go to zeros. I haven't done that yet.
Is it F0?
No, F is just before 0.
Oh, it is?
In hex, yeah.
Okay.
So you wrap over to 0. You know, goes 0 through 9, and then A through F.
Gotcha.
Right.
Yeah, I also have Matt Osborne's kit.
In yours, yeah.
Yeah. I brought my board up to his place.
Oh yeah.
Forever ago.
Yeah.
He installed
it for you. Yeah, he's a good guy.
Dedicated Miss Pac-Man. Got to have that.
This, I think, may have been in Westfield at one point.
Oh, really?
Yeah, this was in Westfield. And I had to put a new marquee on it because the other one, the same thing, they get all faded and then you lose the pink or whatever. So, yeah, you gotta have Miss Pac.
I mean, you and I have seen this cabinet 10,000 times.
Everywhere, I know.
But honestly, these are
timeless.
The soldiers of the arcade world.
They really are.
Right?
They're the workhorses.
I mean, they are.
Yeah, and they get played nonstop because everybody knows these games.
And it is astounding. I mean, these are probably some of the most played games in this whole building.
Absolutely.
As far as total number of plays since 1980.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
It's astounding this stuff still works.
Yeah.
Or can still work.
It can still work. That's probably, better put. It can still work.
It's astounding.
Yeah.
And I think about this a lot because, yes, we do change things that commonly fail. You know, caps dry out.
Of course, yeah. Power supplies.
But there's so many other parts on there that we never touch.
Never touch them.
Right?
And they just keep running.
The resistors, whatever. You know, there's just so many other parts that never get touched.
And it just keeps running.
At some point, though, that stuff has to start domino. Failing, like domino effect, right?
True. When's it gonna go? Yeah. When's it gonna go?
All right, moving on. Gal Plus. Kind of a sequel to Galaga?
Galaga 3.
Okay.
Galaga 3, yeah. And in fact, a lot of these you see are Galaga 3s here in the US. I think they came out Gapless originally, but people didn't understand Gapless was like the sequel to Galaga 3, or a sequel to Galaga, so they renamed it Galaga 3. Now, why they didn't do Galaga 2, I have no idea. I don't know if a Galaga 2 exists or something.
Right.
But so a lot of cabinets in the US, in fact, in Providence, it's a Galaga 3 and not a Gapless. So when you see these, I think these are the earlier versions of the game. Same thing with the board. There's a ROM swap that you can do that'll change the name from Gapless to Galaga 3, you know, if you want to have it.
Yeah, I like this game. I used to play that on my main cabinet a lot.
It's fun because you can move up and down, right, in Gapless, whereas in Galaga you can only move left and right, you know, so, yeah.
Tapper, definitely one of my favorite games. They made a root beer and a Budweiser
and a Bud
one.
Tapper, yeah.
This is the Bud one, which is the one to get with the brass appointments.
Yeah. This one's a little rough. So this was converted, if you can believe it, John, to a Street Fighter.
What?
Yes. Somebody converted this to a Street Fighter when I had it. And I had to deconvert it back to a Tapper. So again, repro marquee. And I had to get
This was a Street Fighter.
Yeah.
How can that...
It was in one of those crappy marquees too, where like the operator takes the letters and just puts them, you know, kind of makes their own marquee in the back room. So it was like Street Fighter 3 spelled wrong, or Street Fighter 2, whatever. Right. Like, you know, just with stick-on letters.
That's hilarious.
It was horrible, yeah.
Now, the original artwork is kind of notorious for turning green.
Oh yeah, this one's definitely no stranger to that. It's so green. But I left it.
It's fine. I wouldn't touch it.
Yeah. But yeah, it's definitely, you know, got some miles on it.
I wouldn't touch it.
Yeah.
I really wouldn't.
Yeah.
But it's a cool game. You know, it has taps. You're serving beer to patrons and stuff. You guys have seen it on my channel a million times.
You still have your tapper?
Absolutely. Yeah. No, this was one that I really wanted.
Yeah.
And I got it a long time ago from that guy in Westfield. What was his name?
Oh, Ray West?
Yeah.
Is that Ray West? Yeah. He had a lot of great games.
He did.
He really did. Yeah.
Okay, Omega Race. This was a game I actually liked too as a kid. Played it a lot on my 2600.
Yeah?
There was like
the spinner.
There was some special controller to play it on the 2600.
Oh no, like a paddle or something?
Yeah, something like that. So this is a Midway black and white vector game.
Yeah.
They didn't make a lot of those, did they?
This was Midway's only vector game.
Is it the only one?
Only one. As far as I understand, they didn't make any other vector games. Omega Race was it. And it's a pain in the ass. Like, this game sucks. Oh yeah. Like, anybody who has an Omega Race knows the batteries leak. The batteries are on the main board and they leak, and when they leak, they just destroy everything. And this is no stranger to that. So I had to send this board out for repair. There's a guy that specializes in Omega Race repairs, very meticulous. He'll repair all those traces that, you know, have the battery damage and you know, spend hours doing it, bringing it back to life. So much so that they made a repro board for this, kind of like Quantum. Somebody did a repro blank board that you could buy, you know, for Omega Race. So
and populate it yourself.
Yeah. So this one I got Coin Op Warehouse. It was sitting forever. The batteries exploded. It was a total nightmare. And it's still having some issues with the monitor. You can see it's blooming a little bit. I just got it working last week, but I figured I'd give it a try. You don't see these anywhere.
No.
Who's running a Mega Race anywhere? Nobody.
Matt Osborne had one.
Oh, right? Did he?
Didn't he have an upright?
He did. Yeah. He had an upright. The Cocktail you never find.
Yeah.
This is one of the rare games that actually has 4 form factors. There's not many that exist. So they had a cockpit on Mega Race.
That's right.
They have a Cocktail. They have a full-size upright, and they have the Cabaret.
That's right.
So there's not many games that have 4 form factors like that. Well, Mega Race is one of them. So.
Well, they're probably going hard after Atari, right?
Yeah, absolutely. You know? At that time, without a doubt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. I kind of dig it. You kind of go around this little square thing, shooting thing. I don't know. And you can bounce off the walls, right, and stuff.
Yeah, it's got cool sound effects too. When you bounce off the walls, like rubber band kind of sound effect, and so we'll see how it does.
Yep. All right, let's continue the midway.
Yeah, around the bend here.
So Spy Hunter. You know, honestly, these are the games I really loved when I was a kid. Like so many of these ones we've been just talking about.
Yeah,
This game was so badass when I was a kid. With the Peter Gunn theme.
Yes.
And James Bond kind of thing going on.
It was like Miami Vice a little bit, you know, with the or like
James Bond.
James Bond, you think? Yeah?
I think so, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, with the gadgets on the car.
Totally.
Oil slicks, guns.
Yeah.
Isn't that Roger Moore?
Is it? I don't know. I thought it might have been like Don Johnson, but who knows? I'm not sure.
I think when this came out, Roger Moore was probably the main James Bond guy. I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, the Peter Gunn theme sounds like the James Bond theme.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah. It totally makes the game too. But yeah, how cool is it with a different oil slick, smoke screen, you know, missiles, and all the different buttons to, control it. You know.
You're right, though. That is totally Don Johnson.
Yeah, I think that's Don Johnson, yeah.
I think it is, too.
Yeah.
I never, ever thought that until now, until you said it.
Yeah. I think that's what they were going after with this game, so, but, yeah.
Yeah, with the cool yoke controller.
I know.
And then the van comes in, you drive into it, you get weapon upgrades.
Now, that reminded me of Knight Rider, right? Like,
yes, totally.
Kit, when you go in the van and, get upgraded or whatever, so. Yeah, and I love that they show you like the different weapons you have and lights down there light up. So
yeah, very awesome.
Cool game.
So Space Invaders, this is my childhood right here, man.
So I'm a fan of the deluxe Space Invaders. You know, the red cabinet. I don't know why. I think because it has the cool overlay with the different colors. This is the original though, right? This is the one that started it. It's got the backdrop with the half silver mirror or whatever. Half transparent. Really cool effect. And those monitors, those black and white monitors, they look great, and they do a great job of hiding that they're black and white, but by putting the overlay over it. So, really cool game.
Yeah, I agree. And this is a Midway version. There was a Taito made the game.
Yes.
And they licensed it to Midway.
Yes.
There's a Taito version of this that uses a joystick
instead of the buttons, right?
For left and right.
Yeah. That's pretty rare out these ways.
Yeah.
You don't see that too often.
But I mean, that's one of the first games I was exposed to as a kid.
Yeah.
That, Asteroids, and Breakout are probably my first 3 games.
No kidding.
Yeah. Galaxian, kind of the precursor to Galaga.
Yeah.
Gotta have it.
Yeah.
I mean, basically, when this game came out, it made Space Invaders look stupid.
Yeah, I know, right? Yeah. And it was like, what, almost the same year, I think, right? 79? Yeah. And I think Space Invaders is right around the same time.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think in Galaxian, like, the color monitor, that was kind of new right at the time for video games. So it was, they were making the jump from black and white to color, so. But cool sound effects in Galaxian, too. Just, similar to Galaga, but,
I mean, just on the surface, this seems so much more sophisticated than Space Invaders.
It does.
But Galaga makes this look dumb.
It does. Like antiquated, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is real slow, like kind of like Gorf or whatever.
Yeah, it's got some tie into Gorf, which Gorf came out, I think, after this, right? So Gorf, I think, borrows a stage from Galaxian and other games. So.
All right, Tron. Can't say enough about Tron, man.
Classic Tron.
I love this cabinet in every way.
Yeah. Yeah. People like Tron because it has the black light, the cool effects with the, again, I don't know how much reflective this is anymore, but, back in the day, the black light would illuminate all of this, right? And this down here was all illuminated too. It looked just a very attractive cabinet with the like a backdrop back there with a light behind it. You know, different, unique compared to everything else that was out there. So.
Yeah.
Plus, it had a movie behind it, right? So.
Yes. A movie that bombed.
It bombed. The game made more money, right? Isn't that the fact that the video game made more money than the movie? I think it is. Yeah.
But now, in hindsight, everyone loves Tron, but I think the reality is it wasn't very big.
No. By the way, this, I've noticed in Providence, was getting crushed so much. People put their finger right through it, their thumb, thinking like this was like a way to fire or something.
Really?
So I had to make like a repro metal version of this. I went through 3 of the original plastic reproduction Tron inserts, but they just kept getting destroyed. So I'm like, you know what? I gotta come up with something better. So we made a metal insert so people don't put their finger through it.
That's funny.
Yeah.
There was a logo on it. What was it, Midway or Bally?
I know. I think it was like, did it say Tron or did it say?
I don't remember. Mine has it.
It had something.
I forget what it said.
I think it says Tron. Yeah,
okay.
It is. It says Tron on it, but people were just putting their thumb right through it, just like.
That's funny.
Yeah.
It makes no sense. All right, so let's go over here. I guess this is the Atari section, Dave.
Right.
Jay.
Now we're moving on to the good stuff, right?
Dig Dug.
This was at Amherst at one point. In fact, we went through a number of attempts to bulletproof this and get it working, because remember it was failing at Amherst. So we got it all working and then we pulled it out of there, and now it's living its second life here. And it's another game. People are like, especially with Stranger Things, they're like, oh yeah, do you have Dig Dug? Do you have Dragon's Lair? You have Dig Dug? Yes, we have it.
Yeah.
So all original, Atari classic.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of this.
Yeah.
I really am. Now this was licensed from Namco.
Namco, yeah. Same thing, there's 2 different versions of the board. You have a Namco version, you have the Atari version.
Right.
Slightly different,
So this is a game that I would love to have a dedicated one of, just because I love it so much, but it's also a game that plays so great in my...
Oh, on your
main cap,
setup,
it's like...
Yeah, why bother?
It's 1-to-1.
Yeah.
Yeah. Asteroids, one of my earliest video game memories.
Yeah.
I used to go to a campground that had it.
And they made a ton of these, right?
It blew my mind, this game.
I think, was this Atari's #1, like, they produced more Asteroids than any other game?
I don't know.
I want to say.
I don't know.
Like tens of thousands of Asteroids machines were made.
I believe it.
You always hear the stories about the operators who would get a call that the game stopped working and
there's too many quarters.
There was too many quarters in it. That's the story,
well,
right?
That's Nolan Bushnell's tale about Pong,
Yes, same thing. But
which is probably,
But again, if you can go back to, this is 79 or 80, it's 79, right? So if you can go back to the 1979 and think about what was in the arcade at the time. You had Asteroids, you had Space Invaders over there Tim's playing.
Yep.
Galaxian was 79, right? I mean, like,
and then a bunch of what I remember is those games, and then EM Pinball.
From the
like
60s
and game.
Yes.
Or a Spirit of 76 game. Like that's what I was saying before at Riggy's.
Yeah.
Like the remnants of the 76 stuff was around for a while.
And so this stuff was like, wow.
Yeah.
Look at this new technology. Like, this is amazing compared to what was out before.
Yeah, this was like Apollo 11, next to a Cowboy EM pinball machine, right?
And it's all space theme, like Asteroid space theme, Space Invader space theme, Galaxian space theme, everything's space.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
And just listen to the bass.
On the Space Invaders.
Very Jaws.
Yeah.
I'm sure Jaws influenced that. Like, that bass is so great.
Yeah. You can hear that from around throughout the arcade.
All right, so Tetris, my wife is addicted to this version. Like
the Atari Tetris?
Yeah, she likes this version a lot.
So what cabinet do you think this was originally, John?
Not Quantum, Space Duel or something.
You got it. It was Space Duel. Here's the key: is the double speakers
that's
up
why
top.
I was looking at it.
Yes, the double speakers. Poor Space Duel.
Space Duel got converted a ton.
I did. Yeah. And so this was a Tetris, and I picked it up. I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna leave it a Tetris. I'm not gonna try to deconvert it.
You know what? More people are gonna play Tetris than Space Duel.
All day. Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
And that is a very good version of Tetris.
Yes. Yeah.
It really is.
Yeah. Another game I can put anywhere in the arcade. I can put it in the basement, and they'll go down there and find it.
Yep.
Like they'll sniff out a Tetris any day of the week.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah, you remind me. I gotta pull my Tetris out. I have that JAMA switcher. I should put that in my Mortal Kombat.
Was that in your Z-Back or something?
Yeah.
Okay.
But I could put it in the Mortal Kombat.
Yeah,
and
do
then
that.
She could play
25-inch version of Tetris, much better. In the Mortal Kombat.
No, Z-Back was 25.
Oh, it is.
Yeah,
okay. Yeah.
All right, Indiana Jones. This is a game I was always kind of conflicted with because I worship Indiana Jones.
Yeah.
In this game, it was kind of weird, honestly, right?
Yeah. You know, I had a hard time deciding what two System 1 games I was going to put in. Marble Madness had to go in, because this is one of my favorite games.
Road Blaster.
Yes, exactly. So I wanted to put a Road Blaster in here, but I had another Indiana Jones, so this might become a Road Blaster. The thing is, does this have the hole?
Pedal?
Yeah, I don't have the pedal, and I'd have to drill a hole in the cabinet. Those are the bolts, right, for the
Well, doesn't
pedal.
that come off? Oh.
Well, the bolts will slide through to put the pedal in, but you need to put a hole, I think. You see that a lot for the wire to go through. So I'm like, I don't want to do that. I'll just leave it in Indiana Jones. You know. But eventually, a Road Blasters will come here, because I think that one gets played a lot more.
I would agree. I think driving games in general.
Yes, but you know what's crazy? Most collectors will take a Road Blasters and be like, I'm converting that back to Marble Madness. I don't want that crap.
Or Roadrunner.
Yeah, or Roadrunner, or Pack Rat, or Indiana Jones. Like, Road Blasters is like the least out of all the System 1.
But it's probably the most played of all of them.
It is.
It's the one I remember the most.
Yes.
I remember Marble Madness a lot. I remember Indiana Jones. It kind of stops there, I think. Right?
Yeah.
Those are the top three, maybe.
Yeah.
But Road Blaster is the one I remember playing the most. And Road Blasters is basically Spy Hunter.
It is, yeah.
Right?
With weapons
third person,
exactly.
Yeah. Kind of Spy
with kind of these yoke, you know, kind of control. But yeah, we see a lot of Road Blasters everywhere.
So Marble Madness, a great trackball game.
Yeah.
I never really got into it personally.
Really? Not a fan?
I like the game. I remember the game, but I never have been passionate about the game.
Yeah. This is one of those ones that collectors go crazy for.
Yeah.
You know, everybody wants Marble Madness
for
whatever reason. But
who was the guy from King of Kong with the glove?
yes, with the fingertips
was
cut
he
off.
Marble Madness?
Yes,
Marble Madness guy?
Yeah, with the no fingertips.
Yeah.
Right?
All right, so Gauntlet Dark Legacy. So this is a very newish sequel to Gauntlet with a full 3D engine, you can see.
3DFX video card. This runs that later hardware.
Great.
Yeah, it is a nice looking monitor.
I like the graphics, man.
Yeah. Considering when it came out, I mean, this is what, 99?
Yeah.
98, 99?
This is like PS1 era, PS2 almost.
And this is like a hybrid Atari
PS1,
slash Midway game, right? Like, it'll say Midway all over it, but I put it with all the Atari games because the hardware is a mix, right, of the Midway and Atari hardware, so.
Right. I mean, Gauntlet is an Atari brand forever, right?
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Do people like this game?
Yeah, you know, I had the original Gauntlet.
We did too at the hangar.
At the hangar.
Nobody played it.
Yeah. And I had it at Free Play in Providence. Nobody played it. Or the worst, they'd play like a minute and then they'd walk away. I put this in there and everybody plays it. Like they love.
I believe it.
Yeah, like they love this version of it better than the original. Okay.
It looks way cooler, dude.
Yeah. Yeah, it is. It is a cool cabinet.
All right, so Jay, you got some Atari vectors here.
I know. I'm crazy for even thinking about running vectors, right?
Well,
I mean,
we had these at the hangar.
Yes.
Tempest didn't do very well.
No.
Star Wars did pretty okay.
Yeah. Hard to keep running though.
A little unreliable though.
Very hard to keep running. You know,
it's the transistors and
exactly.
on the frame.
The frame transistors fail all the time, right? So this is actually running, and we'll talk about this more later. But this is actually running the Vector FPGA hardware that you did a video, I think, maybe a year or two ago from Scott Swayze. Much more reliable, like running that hardware versus the original Tempest board. So we'll take that out later and look at it. But but Tempest is, again, another game people come in all the time. You got Tempest? Yeah, it's back there. Does it work? Yes, it works. You know. So
do you find the FPGA doesn't push the monitor as hard?
Absolutely.
Is that true?
Yeah, okay. So I've been running in Providence 2 years, the Vector FPGA. If that was running the original hardware, that game would have failed like 5 times over already, I guarantee you. But whatever improvements they did in the Vector FPGA, the way they drive the monitor and whatever he's doing, I find it to be much more reliable, you know, versus the original hardware. So, I mean, like you said, John, this stuff is like, you know, 30, 40-year-olds now.
Right. And
all that stuff's starting to fail, or the components are starting to fail, you know, more often.
The PCBs in these games, the parts on them must be so out of spec across the board.
Oh, yeah.
Like everything.
Yeah.
Like if you were to sit down and start measuring every single part.
Yeah. That stuff's
It's almost like a miracle. Like
some of it's, and they weren't designed to run this long. I mean, they were designed to like run a year or two at most, you know, when they built them.
Planned obsolescence, whatever they phrase it. Yeah.
Yes.
All right, so Star Wars, obviously, is this as good as the arcade 1-up one? I've seen it at Walmart.
I don't think so, John. I think that might be a little bit better than the original. Yeah.
Bold statement.
Yeah.
Bold statement.
I mean, how can anybody even buy one of those things? Have you looked at those? Did you look at the cockpit version of the arcade one-up that they did?
There's a cockpit?
Well, they added like a chair to it or something that you can buy. So it's like that little mini arcade one-up, and then there's like a thing that comes out from the front, and you can sit on it and pretend to be a cockpit. I'm like, who would buy that thing? Yeah.
They made a pseudo cockpit. That's funny.
It's
now,
out there.
They had a Yo controller though on it. I don't know if it's
Which I hear is good, but it's plastic, but it looks real, but it's plastic, right? I mean.
Well, I'm going to be doing a video. I have the Centipede one.
You do?
Well, they sent me it for review.
Oh, that was
I
nice.
never opened it.
Oh, I should be quiet.
Like a year ago. Well, whatever. I mean, I should put it all together and just like push it off a cliff or something. Maybe I'll love it.
So yeah, Star Wars. You had one of these at one point.
I did.
Which is still in my basement. This is not that one.
The Ampliphone.
You had the Ampliphone.
This
right.
is a 6100.
Correct.
Yeah.
This is 6100. Yeah. Which most Star Wars are 6100s. You almost never find the Ampliphones. They're very rare.
Right.
At this point. But yeah, again, if you're gonna have like vector games, you have to run Star Wars, Tempest, Asteroids, and that's probably good enough. You know.
Yeah.
After that. You don't really.
Yeah, after that it gets a little.
You don't need a
quantum.
Quantum. You don't need a Gravatar.
Right.
In this setting, you know.
So Millipede sequel to Centipede.
Yes.
I totally love this game.
Yeah, me too.
I don't think it's better than Centipede. It's just different than Centipede. Cause I like them both for different reasons.
Yeah.
You agree?
I like there's certain aspects of like the DDT. I don't really use the DDT much because I just blow it up immediately. But I like is it the inchworm or something that comes over and slows the game down in the middle? I love that. Like the way it just slows the whole game down. The music slows down. The screen slows down. I just think it's so cool. Like that was a cool effect that they did. So.
And Millipede had a bigger trackball than Centipede.
Correct. This is the.
Like a
3-inch? This is a 3-inch, yeah.
And this is like a cue ball.
2 1/4 or something, yeah.
Is this exactly the same as a cue ball, right?
I think it is.
Yeah, I think it is.
I think
too.
you're right. I think you're right.
Here's one of my favorite games, period, the end.
Pole position.
Don't get sick of it.
No.
I don't. You play this game for high score, it's very, very addictive.
Tim's actually pretty good at this game. He had a few high scores on this. You still have a high score on it, Tim?
What's your high score now?
Is that yours?
No, that's not mine.
64,100?
No, that's your friend Mike.
Is that Mike Sao Pedro? Oh, okay. Are you going to beat that, Tim? Can you beat that?
I have only once.
What's your high score at home?
I think I break in 65.
Really?
That's only once.
All right.
Good.
That's pretty
but
good.
Only once.
Yeah.
And you know why?
I put up a score in your game.
Yeah, because I was gunning for your score. That's like #1 on my own machine.
Oh, okay.
I lived with it there, so
really?
I sat there and I played it.
Well, good.
Day.
I made you better than me.
And then, once. And then the battery died, so it's gone.
Ah, no.
It's just a photo now.
Well, just put the Dallas RAM in there.
Yeah, that's what's in this one.
The battery and the Dallas RAM died.
Yeah, I have a Dallas RAM in mine, and that RAM's from the 90s.
Oh, you're on borrowed time.
I know. It's still working, though.
Yeesh.
My high scores have not been lost in, like, ever.
Yeah. I have the Dallas RAM in here. We'll
Yeah.
see how long it lasts, so.
But yeah, I mean, we
Timeless
talked a lot
classic.
about it.
Yeah. Well, we still have one of these in Amherst. We're still running your pole
we
position.
have my pole position 2.
Yes. Still
which
there.
I got on Craigslist for like $50.
Wow. Yeah.
And it was just a fuse.
These used to be a dime a dozen. Remember, you could get these for free like 10 years ago because they never worked.
They never worked.
Yeah.
And it's the edge connectors, it's that fuse block.
Yes.
There's
the game
boards.
boards.
There's a high amp fuse on the bottom.
Yep.
The custom chips. It's just a gazillion things.
Yeah, there's a lot that goes wrong on these.
So Bump and Jump is another game I absolutely love too.
Yeah.
This is another Data East.
Data East, right? Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. Never see it in the cocktail. Almost
You never do.
right?
I see the upright a lot, and sometimes you see it converted, and you always look at it and say, "Is that a Journey?"
Yeah.
Oh, no, it's a Bump and Jump.
a Bump and Jump. Oops.
Or is that a Domino Man? Oh no, it's
now it's Bump and Jump again.
Bump and Jump, yeah.
You know, I always take a risk running these. You can see, like, you know, when somebody spills a beer or something, like the beer just finds its way underneath the glass and eventually travels, and then it, you know, destroys the underlay. Yeah.
How does the beer get?
It wicks itself in there. It's weird. Like there's no, you know, on the Atari games, you'll see like they use like that small, almost like a weather stripping, or like it's like a black thin weather stripping, so
like
it's better protected, like a lip. But the Midway, they never did any of that. So the bear finds a way in, and it just creeps in, and it just destroys, and that's what happened to this. So I have to find another one of these. I think Rich does these. But yeah,
that is actually dangerous. It's just dripping on the monitor.
Yeah.
Which is just an open.
Yeah.
Short, whatever you want, waiting to happen.
Yeah.
All right, so we did all of this. Why don't we check out the back room?
Yeah. All right, let's go look in the back.
So this is your pinball section.
This is it. So we've put all the pins in one giant row back here. We lined them all up from A-list to B-list to whatever, you know, and it goes all the way down. So
wait, is that true? Does it go from best to worst?
Yeah, pretty well. I put all the A-list up front because I want people to see those when they first come in the room, right? And then, I mean, it's not like they all go to shit, but I mean, you go A-list, B-list, and then, you know.
All right, so Adam's Family, obviously one of the most popular pins of all time. I think the most produced pin of all time.
I think you're right, yeah.
Pat Lawler, you have a color DMD with a credit dot error.
Yes, we're gonna get right on that. Yeah, the thing has an issue with the opto, so it was going berserk. The hand would just start coming out whenever it wanted to, and we're gonna fix that. So, and I don't know why it has this rose.
Guns N' Roses?
We're getting rid of this, yeah.
Is that Guns N' Roses?
Yeah, I think it is, yeah. It's like an aftermarket. Whoever put that on,
right?
We'll get rid of that. And this has a funky. Somebody went really on to town with the LEDs and put some purple LEDs and some crazy colors in there. So I might remove some of that and make it, you know, more traditional.
Do you like the color DMDs?
I am a fan. I do like them. Yeah, I mean, if a DMD is about to fail and I have the option of putting a color DMD or an original amber DMD back in, I'm going to put a color DMD in.
And there's there's like the LCD ones, and then there's the LED ones.
Yeah. So these are LED.
Okay.
So they look more like the original DMD. When they first came out, they were all LCD based, and you could fake it to make it look like LED, but it didn't really look that good. So these are all newer LED style, and I don't even know if they still make the LCD versions.
And you could see the spacing between the LEDs.
Yes, yes.
Whereas the LCD, you really couldn't.
Yeah, it looked like a computer screen.
Right.
You know, it didn't really look good.
Yeah, because I think I'm going to do this with my. I think I'm going to go hog wild with the NBA.
Yeah.
I mean, the NBA Fast Break.
You should do it. I heard the NBA Fast Break Color DMD looks really good.
Does it?
So you should totally do it.
Yeah.
Because some games look better than others. I just feel like, you know, the more animation, the more colors they can put in, they look great. So.
All right, so Medieval Madness. I mean, these next two pins were on my list forever. Even the one after that. Like, I wanted Medieval Madness so bad.
Yeah.
Like I really did.
Yeah.
I played this in a bar a few times. And I fell in love with it. And they've repro'd it since. This is obviously the original one.
This is the original, yeah.
It looks great though.
Thanks.
Those are LEDs?
Those are LEDs, throughout. Yeah.
So are you LEDing all the pins?
I am, yeah. You'll see almost everything in this row has been LED'd.
Yeah.
Just in terms of reliability and, you know, the connectors, if you have the old lamps, a lot of times the connectors will start to burn up and get hot, especially when they're running in an environment like this, you know, 12 hours a day, 7 days a week or whatever. So if you can, anything you can do to keep the heat down by putting LEDs in. And I don't have to, you know, change bulbs all the time, you know. Once the LEDs go in, they pretty much don't go out ever, hopefully.
The incandescent bulbs are just drawing more amperage.
They are.
They're the LEDs.
Correct. They're drawing more current. They give off more heat. You get, you know, things like raised inserts and all that other crap that can happen depending on the game. So it's just better overall. But you know, you got to spend, you know, a little bit of money to put an LED kit in like this. Can cost you a few $100. Yeah. Versus just changing out one lamp. You know, so it's an investment.
Attack from Mars. This was the first pin I tried getting.
Really?
And then I realized, oh my God, these are really expensive. They're like $3,000.
Yeah.
I guess I should have bought it.
You should have bought it back then. Yeah, you definitely should have.
That's a steal.
That was a steal.
Well, then my first pin was Whirlwind at like $750.
Wow, really? And today, that's like a $3,000 pin.
I know.
Whirlwind's up there.
Yeah.
You know, but yes, these are sought after. Obviously, they remade both of these now.
Yeah.
So the prices came down a little bit from their peaks, but they're still very expensive. Pins. But some of the most desirable pins, people come in all the time and they're like, oh, you have an Attack from Mars? You have a Medieval Madness? Oh, okay, cool. I'll plant myself here.
And I think the reason I like Stranger Things so much, which we have, same designer, same game, kind of.
A lot of it, right? That center shot.
Target, something goes down, target behind it. Stranger Things does it differently, where a ramp comes down, which is kind of exciting.
Yeah. And who was the guy now that designed?
Brian Eddy.
Brian Eddy. Yeah. Is that his name?
Yeah. And then these
pop up
aliens animate. I have Revenge from Mars. That was the closest thing I could get to it.
Yeah. But I like that game too.
I actually love it. My wife loves it. We both love it.
Yeah.
Circus Voltaire. This was on my list. You know, I guess when you get into collecting, all these high-end ones are on the list, right?
Yeah.
You want to have all of them, but this was one of those pins that quickly accelerated in pricing.
It did.
Then, you know, it's blingy. It is. I mean, look at this neon tube.
Everything.
The back glass is crazy and unique. You have the DMD below the back
recessed
glass, behind the playfield glass.
Very unique the way they did that.
All these toys. It's Papadoo.
Yeah, exactly.
He's a little polarizing, but
Yeah, you've got that, what is that guy called back there, the ringmaster?
Yeah.
Pops his head out. That's notorious for breaking. And so this game may not stay here very long, just because, you know, I think it's a very fragile game to run, like in an environment like this.
Oh, you do?
Especially when the game can be played over and over. There's no quarters, so people aren't worrying about how much money they're putting in. They're just going to keep playing it, you know, all these pins. So, but this game, for whatever reason, I just feel like it wasn't fully polished or finished when they released it. So a lot of stuff breaks on it. Especially that ringmaster, he breaks all the time.
Does it?
Oh God, yeah, all the time. So it may leave here and never to come back. So we'll see.
The Getaway, Steve Ritchie.
Yeah.
Cool game.
Really cool game.
Sequel to High Speed.
Which, Tim, you have a High Speed, right?
I do have a High Speed. Yeah.
When are we bringing that here?
You want to trade for Getaway?
No, absolutely not.
I'll trade for Getaway.
Yeah. Sounds like a lopsided deal, no?
Yeah, this game's cool. Like it has like this vroom, vroom, vroom thing with the motor, right? Where the ball just kind of whips around and stuff.
Yes, the supercharger. I think that's what they call it, right?
Okay.
Yep. Yeah, really fun, fast game. Really cool call-outs too, right? Steve Ritchie's voice, is that him in there? I think.
I'm sure it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's cool. Doctor Who. This was in your basement, right?
It was.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. Again, a following, right? A lot of people, Doctor Who fans. Will come in, oh yeah, I used to watch the, you know, whatever the show, and they'll play this for hours.
Yeah. A lot of British people come here. Oh, you got the bloody Doctor Who, do you?
Yeah, we got that in the back, you bloke.
I used to watch that on the BBC when I was a chap.
They sound exactly like that whenever they come in. Yeah, they sound like that.
World Cup Soccer, we talked about this at Riggy's. This is actually on my list, like a real list.
Why do I feel like you didn't have one of these?
Never had it.
I feel like you had one.
This is the perfect pin to be on my list.
Yeah.
Because it's not $10,000.
Right, and we were just talking about that.
Because I'm not spending that much money.
This game always stays like $2,500.
Yeah,
just never moves.
Perfect.
And it's a great game.
It's a fun game.
Fantastic game.
Yeah.
And it's priced right.
Yeah.
Like, that is just too expensive.
By the way, the color DMD in this one's pretty cool. Like,
that looks great.
Really cool job they did with the colors on that one. So, yeah.
I do like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, very cool game. Do people actually like this, or?
I don't know. First time. I haven't run it yet.
Oh,
it's new to free play, so
Gotcha.
we're going to try it. I think it'll get played a lot, though. A lot of soccer fans.
Rocky and Bullwinker is pretty funny to me. I like that. That's a Data East pin. So they're making color DMD for everything.
They are. And this is, again, another color DMD that's actually really cool. They did a good job with this. The colors that they used and everything, the way they animated it looks great, you know, with the color scheme. So, yeah, this is a fun game. And I had it in Providence, and then it needed to be shopped out. Now it's here. So we'll see how it does. But I
love the license.
Yeah.
I mean, I watched that as a kid, so.
You grew up with Rocky and Bullwinkle.
Yeah.
I remember they always on the commercials for like Hershey's Kisses or Hershey's chocolate bars or something. Yeah, that was like their thing.
And Boris and Natasha.
Yeah.
Are Data East games like reliable, or are they pretty good?
People are like, oh, you don't want to run that crap. You know, don't run Data East. That's what I've heard, right? You know, just stick with the Williams stuff. But this one seems to be fine. And I've run this. I have a Guns N' Roses, and the Phantom of the Opera, all Data East, and they all seem to run okay. I mean, you know, what does Riggy say? It's not pinball if it's not broken, or something like that.
That was some of the lingo.
Some lingo.
I wrote all that down.
Legs on the. How does it? Legs up.
Legs on the floor. I think.
Floor. Standing up on legs or something. I don't know. On legs? Is it just on legs?
Maybe.
I don't know.
We'll consult Ricky.
So this has an animated backlash, right? He pulls a rabbit out.
He pulls the rabbit out. Yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty cool.
NBA Fast Break, obviously, you know, I like that. LEDs in that?
Yes, all LED'd out.
Does that look pretty good?
I think it looks great. Now, I've seen it the other way where they put the cool whites, so it has like a much brighter effect. And I got to tell you, I don't like the cool whites. I think the warm whites in this game are the way to go.
I'm with you on that.
Yeah.
I think I went warm white on my Radical.
Yeah.
Like that, it's just too sterile and harsh. The kind of blue white, like the
it works in some games, and you'll see as we go down the line, like
Terminator.
Exactly, that's the game it works in.
This is an orange amber game.
Correct. It should be a warm white feel, not a sterile blue white.
So I have to say, this doesn't look that drastic to me. Maybe because, like, maybe if this was next to my current one, it would be drastic.
Oh, right.
Because they're all
LED'd. Yeah.
It's hard for me to get a true feeling.
It becomes like night and day when you put them side by side.
Yeah, I'm sure if you put an incandescent one here,
it's so dark. You're like, how do you even see that? Yeah.
All right, so NASCAR, we were talking about putting this in the hangar.
This might go there,
yeah.
Because you want to take your NBA Fast Break out of there, so this might replace that. This game can be one of those games that's notorious for breaking. I always hear that this test car in the middle gets whacked so much that it just takes a beating and eventually it just breaks. And you got this loop thing that goes around, and so you get like a lot of ball travel around there.
You know what would be fun?
What's that?
Make a Talladega Nights backlash for this. Ricky Bobby.
Instead of the NASCAR?
Wouldn't that be? That would be awesome.
You want to do it?
I don't know what to do with my hands.
We could try that. Well,
people would go nuts if
I
this
think
was
you're right.
Talladega Nights.
Yeah, they would totally.
Right?
Yeah. Let's do it. If we put this at the hangar.
I like it.
Yeah. That's a great idea.
That would be hilarious.
I think you're onto something with that.
Will Ferrell back there.
Yeah.
Well, that's like they have the cat trick.
Yeah.
With the cats.
Yeah, the cat back glass. I've seen that before.
Which what?
Star Trek. Instead of Star Trek Next Generation, they have the cat Trek, where it's all cat heads instead of the Star Trek.
I never
guys.
saw that.
Yeah. I don't think they made many of those.
All right, Terminator 2, Judgment Day, Steve Ritchie, classic game. I never really got into it, but I think it's cool.
People say it gets tired quickly because it's just the ramp shots over and over, but
it's flow.
Yeah.
It's about the flow.
But it's got the cool head and it's got the whatever you call this, the launcher there, the gun, right? I mean, it's got some cool features to it. But this looks way better, I think. Again, in that cool white because it's got all the silver.
And the blue.
In the blue, it just goes naturally with that LED selection. So.
Funhouse, classic Pat Lawler game.
Yeah. Yeah.
I kind of always felt like this was like Whirlwind's brother. I don't know why, but I feel that way. But it's really more like Roadshow at the head. But
yeah.
So it has Rudy in here, who's like this little mannequin that taunts you, right?
Yeah. Some people are freaked out by that thing because it's like one of those. What do you call those ventriloquist dolls or something like that? Exactly.
Yeah.
Ventriloquist.
Ventriloquist doll.
Ventriloquist. Yeah. So. Yeah. I mean, but that is the game, right? Hitting Rudy's head in the mouth and getting
him talking
to you. Like that's pretty much the whole gist of it. So.
Is that an original Rudy?
Yeah, it's been cleaned up.
It looks perfect.
It does. It is original, and somebody touched it up. So I think that the red might have been touched up a little bit,
like airbrushed or something.
Yeah, whoever went through it for me.
Okay,
I think he gave it to somebody to do that.
That's immaculate.
Yeah, it'll last like 2 days like that.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Once it gets played, forget it. It'll be filthy.
All right, Revenge from Mars. So Jay, this is a staple in my basement.
Yeah.
My wife loves it. You LED'd this.
Yeah, this has
Should
LEDs.
I do that?
I think you should, John. I really do.
Really?
Yeah, I think it just, it just makes the game that much brighter and fun to look at. This also has the saucer mods, when the LEDs that go around the saucers there.
Right.
And they change throughout the game depending on the gameplay and stuff like that. So.
Do you find the brightness of the LEDs interferes with the half silver?
It can
effect?
In the back, yeah. So I think in this one, a lot of the LEDs have been removed in the back or around, so it doesn't interfere because it can become too bright and take away from that effect. So, yeah. So
and with the LEDs, you get constant bulb errors, right?
Yes.
In the software.
Yeah.
It doesn't detect that.
It doesn't detect that they're on or whatever it is.
Yeah.
So you can get that. In this game, you can get that.
Yeah, because I kept breaking that bulb back there on the left.
Okay.
Like
underneath the slingshot.
Yeah. It's not a slingshot. I don't think.
What's
but
back there?
whatever that. To the left of the center target, there's in between the rubber.
I
see that?
Yep.
I kept breaking that bulb, and I replaced it with an LED.
And it kept complaining.
I kept getting an error because of it. So I figured, the game must not recognize that there is a bulb
LEDs
there.
in there. Yeah.
Yeah. All right, Machine Bride at Pinbot. This is a Python game. We kind of talked about this in the last video.
Yeah, Riggy had it, right?
Riggy.
Yeah.
Well, Riggy didn't have this one. He has
the original Pinbot. He has the original Pinbot.
Bride at Pinbot, doesn't he? Is that the one that's there?
I don't. We didn't see this there.
But we talked about this? Oh, because we must have been talking about Pinbot, and then we got into Bride of Pinbot, I think. Yeah,
and we were talking a lot about Python and all the pins he did.
Yes.
So yeah, this guy, he's into women.
Yeah. A little bit.
He's got the two flashers.
Yeah. Yeah, this one has some crazy LEDs around, the blue and the purple. Those are not supposed to be there, and you can see that they're doing some ghosting thing, like as it was changing, it was having a hard time, keeping the light on or off. But
I never really played this game. I really don't know a lot about it.
I like this game a lot.
You do?
I do. So you slowly get to build that robot as you go through. You know, the whole head in here rolls over.
Oh, you're building a robot? Is that what's happening?
Yeah, as you go through, then you know, you end up getting the balls in the eyes.
It's four-sided, right? Is that the head is like 4 different sides? Is that right?
I'm not good enough to make it that far.
Oh,
wait, the head spins around?
yeah, that head moves.
Spins around.
Yeah, the whole thing, and you get the ball in the mouth, and then the whole head will turn. It's like a four-sided head, I think.
I didn't know.
Yeah, there's all different sides to that head. Yeah. Yeah, it changes. Like it flips like quickly. It's pretty crazy.
Huh. It's kind of a genius. All right, Fire. We just talked about this on the last one, but it's kind of an old school.
This one the bell works, so when people are playing it, you constantly hear that ding ding. You know,
really?
Yeah, on the top. So.
I think I was saying in the last video when I first started collecting, this seemed like a game a lot of people were dumping at the time.
Really?
I don't know. Like
getting rid of Fire?
I see this one for sale a lot.
Yeah, I feel like it was even more like 10 years ago or whatever.
Yeah.
Like this just seemed kind of a little bit old compared to a 90s Addams Family or something.
Right.
You know? So Williams Millionaire?
Yeah, so if there's 2 games on the chopping block in this row, it's Fire.
Now why don't you get a Trump back for this one? Do Talladega Nights.
Billionaire. Right? Yeah, these 2 are probably on the chopping block. These are like filler for the time being, and they'll get cycled out eventually. But I got this like in a package deal.
I don't think I've ever seen this game.
Which one, Millionaire?
Yeah.
There's not a lot going on in this game. It's got some cool like sound effects it makes every now and then, like pretty dated for the time now. But yeah, no, it's meh. It's not a great pen.
No, but this was reminiscent of those cocktail tables that Dan had.
Oh yeah, yeah.
The cocktail pinball.
They had something like this inside.
They had that same. It was the game plan.
Game plan. That was the name of it.
Same kind of mechanism, right?
Yeah. Yep.
I wonder what they were thinking. I mean, '80s was all about greed and
yes.
And being a successful Wall Street guy.
Yes, that was the age of exuberance or whatever.
Right.
Yeah. Yep.
Williams Space Shuttle. I've always kind of been fond of this game, even though it seems pretty simplistic compared to the type of pins that we usually gravitate towards.
Cool sound effects, though.
It's a little before my time as far as pinball goes, but it's pretty cool. It's 84.
This one was like, this was given to me for free. It was missing like everything.
Oh, really?
No boards inside. The playfield hadn't been touched in 30 years. So this was a big time, restore that had to be done, both, electronically just to get it working again, and playfield wise. So, but I think it came out pretty good. Given what it was originally.
I love that.
Oh yeah.
That is a cool
The effect they have on the jet engines or the shuttle engines there.
Is that LEDs?
The thruster. No, I think. I think this game is all LED'd out, but I think that was originally, however they're flashing.
Right now, those are LEDs.
Those are LEDs.
Okay.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, it is a cool effect.
It looks totally cool.
Yeah.
All right, so skee ball. So you and I have skee ball.
Yes.
At the hangars, and they do amazing for us.
They do. They are.
People love throwing things.
Yeah. Everywhere. They throw those balls wherever they want.
I mean, it's not uncommon to find these balls all over the place, behind the game, underneath
the game,
like
around the corner,
50 feet over there.
Yeah.
These are the good ones.
These are the Model S.
Okay.
So they run similar to the ones we have in Amherst. They have the older style, like pulley or whatever mechanism underneath there, the counterbalance and all that fun stuff. But they're very reliable for the most part. Aside from balls getting lost all the time.
Right.
These we modified so they have these giant, hit me buttons here.
Yep.
Like you can't miss them to start because they're set to free play. So that way people just know to hit that.
That's smart.
Yeah.
So how are you getting power and how's it flashing?
It is tied into the game overlight up top. So all we did was we repurposed a wire that was actually for the coins. And we used that wire basically to run from the game over light down to, and we added this light switch here. So that light is tied to game over.
So this kind of relay thing that's going on, whatever, with the flashing is coming from
game over. Correct, yeah.
Because I tried getting my Major Havoc
to light.
To to blink, or what was I trying to do with it?
The LEDs or something?
Yeah, because I put an LED underneath the roller.
Oh, yeah.
And I was trying to get that to flash during a tract.
Yeah.
I wanted it to match the cone buttons.
Yeah.
You couldn't do it. Never figure it out. What magical wiring?
We'll have to look at that, John.
Like, I wanted to tap into the cone lights.
You should be able to.
And make...
It's just going to flash on and off, though. But yeah, we can
I wanted the flashing of the roller to match the flashing of the cone lights.
Yeah, that logic is coming right from the game board, so we should be able to tap into that and do that. Yeah, no problem.
I never got to work.
Okay.
So that's funny to me
That is that, yes.
That's why I was asking you very specifically how you did that.
Jay, where's the schematic?
Yeah. Why are you making it flash? You can't just put 5 volts on it.
So yeah, 3 skee balls here, and again, these get played all the time. So. Yeah.
No, I totally respect skee ball, man.
Yeah.
It's like, it's not as sexy as a pinball game, but actually more people play that than anything else.
Well, anybody plays that, you know what I'm saying?
And these too.
And air hockey. So these are the things that people that maybe not into video games or pinball, they'll gravitate towards this and they'll be like, well, I can play air hockey or I can play skee ball. Like, that's fun for everyone, you know?
Or a couple on a date night, they could play this.
Perfect competitive or cooperative type of gameplay. It's you got to have it, you know?
Now, these got some extreme kind of guard action going on.
Yeah.
What is this all about?
Because there should be a plastic divider that actually goes in the middle of this, but I removed it. Because that's so the puck doesn't go flying when people, like, you know, ram it. And so, which happens a lot. So, but yeah, especially these wider tables here.
I've never seen these extreme guards before.
These are really 4-player tables, but I use them for 2 players. But yeah, you can put 2 teams of 2 on each side. So, and these are a ton of fun. People love air hockey. So. And
you have a Sonic the Hedgehog pinball?
Yeah. So this is a 4-player. Unfortunately, it got some damage during shipping, so I got to repair this so it's not out on the floor. But this is a 4-sided 4-player. You know, they must have licensed the Sonic whatever, but. You know, this company makes a whole bunch of different versions of this same air hockey table, but with different, you know, type of characters and stuff. But it's cool because each person gets a side, and you can basically fire the puck at any one of your opponents, or you can be a team, you know, 2-on-2 against 2-on-2 kind of thing. So it's different.
That's interesting. I know when I was in Chicago, we saw like the Pac-Man air hockey table.
Yeah. Is that the one where all the pucks come out? Like a whole bunch at once?
And that also had a big divider between the players.
Yep.
But I've never seen this this is probably chaos.
It is. Oh yeah. People go nuts on this.
This is basically Warlords, Analog Warlords.
It is.
Right?
Yeah.
Now, is there a big apparatus that goes on top is there any?
No, believe it or not, the score is all here. So your time and your score is all on these things. So these light up, so whenever somebody gets a score on you, it lights up one of these dots.
Now you're kind of screwed with this broken, by the way.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, you're right.
Why don't you go to Home Depot and tell the guy you need some plexi, but you need holes every 1 inch?
I need about 8,000 holes drilled in some plexi. Can you guys do that for me?
Yeah, it's a 32nd of an inch hole every 1 inch. Can you?
Yeah, and it has to line up perfectly with, you know, whatever. So, yeah, this is going to be a project, no doubt. In fact, John, it would probably be less expensive for me to just go buy another one of these tables.
I think
complete versus trying to redo this.
I agree.
So if there's anybody out there that knows where to get these, let me know.
Yeah. I mean, is this like an Italian? What is the
quad air? No, I don't think so. I think it's like
something, because it wasn't. This is Italian, right? Is it one of these?
Yeah, so these fast tracks are, I think they're Spanish, not Italian.
Yeah.
But they're made by the Sam Billiards down here.
Yeah.
And I think it's a Spanish company. So, yeah, because we have one of these, or we have them both in the hangar in Westfield and Amherst. So same company designs, and this is the 4-player version of the same thing, fast track.
Right.
But this is a different company.
It seems foreign to me, like I don't know why.
I've looked inside, so you know this has all the SEGA Sonic stuff, but and it says right here, you know, powered by SEGA. But it's actually, I think it's a Chinese company that makes this.
Oh, okay.
See right here?
Yeah. That could just be the manufacturer. I don't know.
Company, Enterprise, maybe.
They could have farmed it out or something.
It's possible. But yeah, we have one of these in Providence, and it gets played quite a bit. So.
Yeah, really interesting, and that's also like a very Japanese coin mech right there.
This has the coin comparator inside too, so they actually put like a quarter in it to compare. Have you ever seen those before?
No, I haven't.
Yeah, like if you open it up, it's like an electronic, very sophisticated type of coin comparator where it has a quarter in there that stays all the time, and it compares, I don't know, the size or weight.
I see. You
to
give
a real
it
quarter.
the sample.
Correct.
And say, this is it.
And it's constantly looking at whatever you gave it to compare to what goes in the machine. It's really strange.
Huh.
But I've seen them before, but it's the first time I've ever had a game that had one in it. So
this is neat. I kind of dig it.
Yeah.
All right, so over here, let's talk about 2-bit. I used to have this game. This is one of those games I kind of have a soft spot for.
Yeah. It's a fun 2-player game.
Yeah.
It gets played a lot. More than I ever thought it would. Like, I never thought 2-bit would be a game that people would, like, want to play, but they do. 2 players all the time.
Yeah. And it's got a medium res monitor, and then this
So this
marquee.
is interesting. So this marquee, I opened it up, and to me it looks original. I don't know if Atari at some point stopped for like maybe a cost reduction, stop putting the waterfall marquee in there, because this has what looks like an original, just a light back there with none of the mechanics or anything, but it looks all factory. So I don't know if at the end of the production run they started doing this, save money. So this does not have the waterfall marquee, unfortunately, in this one. So
yeah, so the original, there's basically a roller.
Mechanical roller, yeah.
That made it look like the water was flowing on the waterfall.
Yeah, cool effect.
Very reminiscent of a 70s beer sign.
Yes.
My grandpa had one in his basement.
Yeah.
It was like ham.
I remember those now, yeah.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Yeah, I have a real special spot, whatever. That game's special to me.
Yeah.
It was one of my first games, and I kind of regret getting rid of it.
Do you remember where it went? Is it still local? Can you get it back?
I don't really know. That's the problem with this hobby. Like,
you kind of
I should have kept a journal.
Yeah,
or something, you know,
of all the games and where who has them,
because I don't know where it went.
Yeah.
All right, Frogger. You know, as iconic as it gets. Same thing with Q*bert.
By the way, if you notice, this room is kind of like the catch-all for everything that wasn't grouped. I couldn't. Yeah, it's like this stuff.
Could go in the Atari room.
Yeah, it could, but I kind of ran out of space, and it's kind of a weird shaped cabinet compared to everything else. But yeah, the rest of these games in here are just kind of like one-off. Like, what am I going to do with them? You know?
Yeah. So Q*bert, Frogger, we've talked about that a million times. It's
yeah.
Very iconic vintage games. Rolling Thunder, that was a game I used to like a lot too. That is also kind of James Bondy. Yes. Yeah. Let's see if we can get this to work. Hold on. Ready? Hey, look at that. Yeah, yeah, you're like Fonzie. I've had a couple opportunities to buy this game, and I never did it. Yeah. I feel like it's a game that I'm assuming there's an end, which I've never seen. Yeah. And then you don't play it ever again, right? Right. I think it's done after that. Yeah. 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 Some people like Rolling Thunder. Yeah. You know. Now, Dragon's Lair has an end, but I'm horrible at it. You had one. You still have one of these, right? Yeah. I love it. Yeah. It's one of my favorite games in the basement. Now, are you running the original hardware in yours? Laserdisc and everything? Yep. Yeah. Okay. It's not the original Pioneer. Okay. That works. Yep. I have it. I removed it, and I upgraded to a better model. More reliable. Yeah. Yeah. So I'm running a Pioneer, the newer version. Slightly newer one. Okay. That is a commercial one. And I took the original and put it on a shelf. Good. Have a backup. This is running Dexter. Okay. I think the original Pioneer Laserdisc was in here for like a week or two, and then it died when I got it. Did it? And I was like, okay, that's the end of that. So just Dexter or whatever. Yeah, and I have the Merlin. Merlin. Kit. Yeah. So you can allows play. Me to swap discs. Right. You can play other games. Yeah. Space Ace. Or, I have Space Ace. Yeah. Pac-Mania, so this is like a Namco System 1 cabinet? Was that right? Yeah, I think you're right. What was the other one? Dragon Spirit and Galaga 88, right, yeah. And I used to have this cabinet. I used to have Dragon Spirit. Yeah. And this is actually one of the best cabinets ever because this front door opens. Yeah, and you can just pull out the game. It's a vertical JAMA cabinet. Yeah, that's great. It is. And Sanyo 20 EZ, which is weird. That is weird, putting one of those in an Atari game or a Namco game, whatever. It's kind of a mismatch of everything. Wrong joystick, I know. I got it this way. I got to replace it with the Atari logo joystick. Yeah. But I will do that. I really like this hardware, and I like that cabinet a lot. And, you know, this game gets played like more than I ever thought it would. This and Galaga 88, I don't know why. Somebody, unfortunately, but... yeah, this game gets played a lot more than I thought it would ever would. So, all right, Berserk. I don't know. Is this Stern Stern's most popular video arcade game?
It might be. Yeah.
Scramble.
Yeah, but I think Berserk is more well known, or I mean, people know that voice.
Yeah.
You know what is it? They just know those sound effects and, and the voice, you know. So.
The gameplay is kind of like Robotron, honestly, but with like rooms, you know. And not a twin shooter, but yeah, it's cool. I mean, it's definitely an older game. It feels like an older game. Is this running original hardware?
This one is. Let me think about that. This is running J-Rock. So the one in Providence is running the original hardware. This is running J-Rock. Yeah.
Gotcha.
And this has a repro control panel. It's
silkscreen metal.
Silkscreen metal. This isn't. This is going to last like a day. So I should probably get rid of this.
Are you serious?
They'll scratch this in no time. I mean, somebody comes with a watch and it's over. It does not have the bad joystick. It has just a. This is actually a perfect 360 in here.
Is it?
Yeah. It's somebody gave me one of those, so I threw it in there. So anyway.
All right. So over here, Time Crisis 3. We have one of these in Amherst.
Yeah.
This does very well.
It does. This one's a little different than the one we have in Amherst. Amherst has a different style cabinet where
it doesn't have the mirror.
Right, and it separates and it's different. It's two separate units, right?
Yes.
Whereas this is one long, continuous, two monitors in one cabinet kind of thing. So this one's a little bit harder to move, but it doesn't have quite the same form factor as the other one we have in Amherst. Right. It's a little smaller.
It's weird. Why would they decide to do the mirror thing? Because the monitor's on the bottom.
Right.
The one in Amherst, the monitor's right here.
Straight at you.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know if they did it to conserve space.
It seems like the same size.
Yeah, now that you mentioned it, John. I don't know. Maybe this was an early run and then they went to the other style.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Very similar to what we have.
Yeah.
All right, over here, Exidy's crossbow. Yeah, I never ever ended up getting an Exidy anything.
No?
Yeah, they were kind of big for a while, the shooter game.
Yeah, they were. They were, yeah. A lot of people were.
And obviously they have Death Race and all that stuff. But.
Cheyenne is the other popular. And then they have Mousetrap and they have Venture, Pepper 2. Right. But Crossbow is like the gun game, so I have to repair the board. It's having an issue, but...
I totally remember playing that as a kid.
Crossbow, yeah.
Aliens, we have one of these.
Yes.
This is a global VR game.
Right.
And this does pretty okay for us.
Yeah.
We had issues with the guns. There's actually a pot in here. Like, this is not actually a light gun.
No, it's XY, right? It has like 2 pots, right? I think.
Yeah, there's 2 pots, one doing X and the other doing the Y coordinates. And we had to replace the pots.
I remember that. Yeah.
It wasn't too bad.
We had to do a lot. I think that game, the video card, wasn't that the one the video card kept failing? And then the monitor failed, and it was like, oh.
Now it seems okay.
Now it's pretty rock solid.
The CPU died.
Yes. We had to send the computer out or something. That's right.
No, it was the video card on the computer.
Yes. We kept wiggling. Remember we had to keep wiggling the video card like every week? Yeah.
Yeah, it was kind of a nightmare. So.
And I think these early global VR games were notorious, even the Raw Thrills to some point, to some degree, of having those computer problems. But I think they've gotten a lot better since.
Yeah. I do think it's interesting that they did the XY, which is probably what this is doing too, right?
This is a light gun.
Is it?
There is a light. Yeah, it is.
So on the early EMs though, they had like that
same.
Not a light gun. It was like a
a coordinate base. Yeah, similar to.
It was like a pin on a plate or something moving around, right?
Yeah,
kind of inform the
computer where it was or something.
Yeah. But this is not a bad game once it's running.
No, it's not. It's newer, right? This is like 2000 something, but
the hardware's it's PC based.
Yeah.
You know, we thought we found a good video card on eBay. It didn't work.
No.
So.
Yeah.
All right, Jay. Well, you know, we've kind of seen it all. Is there anything else you want to say?
Well, I mean, do you want to take a walk back here, John?
Yeah, let's go back.
Take a peek in the back here.
Is this the top secret spot? Are we allowed to come back here?
All right, so here's some of the
overflow
stuff I'm still working on. Space Duel cocktail that I need to put back together. A Kick cocktail.
Game.
Which one, Kick or Space Duel?
That's like Kick. It's
Kick, yeah.
MCR, right?
It is MCR, yeah, very early MCR. I think it's MCR 2.
And you're like a clown on a unicycle popping balloons.
With Pac-Man characters that fall on your head or something. It's kind of weird.
It's bizarre. Can you imagine like the meeting these guys had?
Yeah.
All right, guys, I got an idea.
I got a great idea.
Just listen to this. You're a clown.
Yeah.
Come on a unicycle.
On a unicycle.
you've got a needle on your hat.
And you can pop balloons.
And balloons are falling on you.
And then some guy says, well, how can we add Pac-Man into that?
Right.
Well, we'll have Pac-Man fall on your head too. Yeah.
You know what, RJ, you got a hit. Let's go.
Yeah, let's go with that. That's a great idea.
All right, Star Trek, The Next Generation.
Yeah.
People love this game. We just talked about this on the show with Riggy.
Yeah. This one, the turrets, these things are notorious for having some issues if they're not maintained properly. So that's what's going on here with this.
This is another Steve Ritchie with the turrets.
Right.
Except this time you can aim them.
Yes.
Right? With this, you have
Yes.
control.
And
Or
this-
actually, they just go like this.
They turn and then you can fire.
Shoot
You
when
get
it's
to
lined
shoot.
up.
Correct.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
But there's a lot going on in there. There's an opto that can detect when the ball's in there, and you know, there's a range of motion. You have to like calibrate it. So anyway, this one needs to have some work done to that. We'll fix that. This is also a wide body.
That's right.
It's a wide body Williams game where we were talking about that last time. I think,
Yeah,
right?
very cool.
Yeah.
All right, so you have these photo booths.
Right.
You and I have been talking about putting one of these in.
I think we
Amherst.
should. Yeah, I think we should put one in Amherst.
What's this?
This is like a proper. Yeah, it goes on top of the photo booth to tell you it's a photo booth, I guess. I don't know.
That's pretty funny.
Yeah, and it lights up too. I don't know, it's weird.
It does?
Yeah, to attract people, I guess. But photo booths are popular, John. They actually, get used a lot. And these are older photo booths. Like this photo booth is probably like, I don't know, late 90s, early 2000s.
Wi-Fi here?
Yeah, so not Wi-Fi, but LTE, so it connects
Oh.
to the cell network because it has a credit card reader. So this is the one thing I charge for. Everything's free in free play. You pay the admission.
Yeah.
The photo booth I have to charge for because there's ink and paper, consumables. So I can't, otherwise people would be in this thing all day getting free photos. So
this is approving credit cards over to cell phone network.
correct, yeah. There's a company called USA Technologies. You've seen these if you go on like soda machines
yeah.
and stuff.
Yeah,
you put
yeah.
your credit card up. It's the same thing.
Gotcha.
You just hook it into the system and then it sends over the phone network the credit card authorization and all that stuff.
Yeah, I've seen that apparatus a lot.
Right. Yep, that's all it is.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
All right, Jay, so what else? Any
Oh,
other
yeah,
secrets?
sure. Maybe down here, John. Should we take a walk
Yes.
down into the vault? So this is like a construction area where we did a lot of our work. We haven't finished. We're still doing a few things. So there's still, some construction equipment back here. Eventually, this room will become something later. I'm not going to talk about it today, but maybe if you come back and do a video in another year, you'll see what it becomes. But down
Making like
widgets. What?
what?
What are we making? Widgets back here?
No, just like boutique cheeses or something.
Yeah,
or
yeah.
Artisanal.
Yeah, we'll do some cheeses, some wine. That sounds like a great idea. So there's some overflow games back here, which need to come out on the floor eventually. But we have House of the Dead, which we run in Amherst too, right? This is
I'm fond of this.
yeah, pretty popular. In fact, we had it in Amherst, then it went to Westfield.
Yeah.
And we have House of the Dead 4 now in Amherst, which does okay.
Yeah, I think this one did better.
I think you're right. And we've always talked about swapping them,
Yeah.
remember? We're like, we should put House of the Dead 1 back in Amherst.
Yeah, we thought we were upgrading Amherst when we got the 4.
Right,
Whatever,
yeah.
but it turned out more people played this, and I don't know why. I have no explanation.
And 4 is another one of those maintenance, God, just
Yeah,
the guns.
this is more reliable.
And way more reliable. You know what it is? These guns are very simple.
Yes.
If they break, they're $50.
Yeah, these are the generic Capcoms.
Yeah, and they're easy. The House of the Dead 4 has those crazy Uzi, force feedback, all that other stuff.
Yeah, and we found some replacements on China. It was a mess.
Yeah.
All right, so this is pretty special here. This is a Nintendo Super System. This is like one of the only Nintendo cabinets I never really owned.
You never had a Super System?
No, and there's a handful, especially the early ones I never got. But this is one of them that I had several opportunities to buy one of these.
Okay.
And I talked myself out of it every time. Because
Why?
It is a Super Nintendo. That's all it is.
It is, right. Just like a Play Choice is a regular Nintendo, yeah.
Yeah, it's just a Super Nintendo. And, so right here, Super Mario World, F-Zero, Super Tennis. The controller, this just seemed weird to me.
It is.
Because you have the D-pad.
Yeah.
I prefer the Play Choice because you have the joystick and the buttons.
Yeah.
And the Versus.
Yeah.
And initially on the Versus, it seemed very foreign to me to play Mario with a joystick.
It does.
Yeah. But then it starts...
You get used to it, right?
It starts making sense.
Yeah. Yeah.
Anyway, I didn't want to go this way with it, where you actually have the controller on the arcade. And you have the shoulder buttons and everything.
Yeah, it's a weird, I agree.
It's a strange cabinet.
It is.
And it has like this kind of heavy duty
bar in the front or something.
Yeah.
Like toe plate.
But I think that this is like sought after now.
It is, and in fact, Super Mario World gets played All the time. I mean, these always come with these 3 games. Like, I think almost all Nintendo Super Systems come with Super Mario World, F-Zero, and Tennis. The Super Mario World gets played 99% of the time. So
I believe it.
And they made like you were talking about earlier, they made a conversion card where you can plug any Super Nintendo game into a Super System with this little adapter card. So you see that a lot too.
Yeah. Yeah, this is one of those games, every now and then I'll see someone on the internet, like on a major blog, talking about this.
Really?
Like it's some unicorn, you know?
Really?
Yeah. Like,
well, you know,
like on a gadget or something.
Well, you know what?
These
don't pop up too often though. Around here, again on the East Coast, you don't see these too often. Like I got 2 of these shipped, I think from Wisconsin or something.
Is that right?
Yeah, because they just don't show up here.
They have though, because I know I've had chances to buy these.
Really?
And I didn't do it yet.
Like Craigslist and stuff, because I never see them.
Yes, 100%.
Okay. All
right, so right here, Ghosts and Goblins.
Original, dedicated Ghosts and Goblins.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't come up a lot. Very cool game. Did it have any kind of side?
It did, but for whatever reason, this one either didn't come with it or somebody peeled it off on me. I don't know.
Yeah, I love this game. I mean, I played the hell out of it on the NES. You know.
Yeah, that's one that you can put in the play choice, which I think I did in Providence. I just have this the Ghosts and Goblins in play choice, and people play it there. But it's nice to have the dedicated original on the floor.
Yeah, I mean, it's that much more polished than the NES one, and probably harder.
It is harder. You're right. It is a very hard game.
All right, so this is a
open ice conversion.
Is it Mortal Kombat-ish?
Yeah, I think it's Mortal Kombat 2 cabinet. So I had this on the floor, but we kind of ran out of room, and this one had to go. So it'll come back, you know. Once
Is this good?
You know, I had this in Providence, and I had it out for 6 months, and I'm like, nobody plays that game. I'm getting it. Getting rid of it. And then the second I get rid of it, people are like,
where is it?
What happened to the hockey game, man? That was my favorite.
Yeah.
I only went there to play that game. Okay, we'll put it back.
Yeah, it's funny because we had that in Amherst where we took out Asteroids, and then one guy was really disappointed.
I know.
It's like the game's making like $3 a week, you know.
And he's like, but I drove all the way from Connecticut to play Asteroids.
It's just like, I think every game will always have
that one player,
its micro crowd.
Oh,
you know?
Totally. Yeah, without a doubt, it happens all the time.
Yeah. So Ghost Squad, this game's actually pretty cool.
So this is probably going to go to Amherst or Westfield or whatever at some point. Again, I bought a whole bunch of gun games not knowing which one was going to stick or which ones I wanted to put on the floor. So this one will probably go to Amherst or whatever. So.
Yeah, I like it. Sega's cabinet, a lot like House of Dead, but with these machine guns.
Yes.
Are these going to be a problem?
Well, the nice thing about this is they have these holsters over here that they go in. As long as people don't drop them or just forget to put them back, it'll be fine.
Right.
The problem is when they fall and they crack when people don't put them back in.
Well, you can see they tried reinforcing the grip up there with that metal.
Yeah.
That goes from the clip to the grip.
Yeah. Probably because the plastic one may have broken or something, or originally when they designed it.
That looks factory.
Yeah, that's factory.
Yeah.
But there's other ones that have like a plastic one that I've seen before.
I see.
That I think are not going to last. So.
Yeah, it's cool. All right, so Warlord's Cocktail, you have have like 5 of these for some reason.
I had 4.
Okay.
I only have 2 now.
Okay.
This is one of them. So this one will go back on the floor. I just didn't have space for it at the time, but it will find a home out there. Yeah. Same thing with Red Tent back there.
Yeah, so obviously Nintendo versus Red Tent plays games that are like the NES versions, but not.
Right.
One of my favorite cabinets, period. So what games are in here now?
I think there was Super Mario and maybe Mach Rider were the 2 that were in there. Yeah, so I'll probably keep Super Mario Brothers in there and maybe put, I don't know, what do you think, John, for the other side? What's another popular?
Dr. Mario.
Dr. Mario, yeah, that's a good one to put in there.
That's kind of my go-to.
Yeah.
My wife loves Dr.
Mario.
Yeah, and then everyone loves. I love that version of Mario. It's way harder than the NES.
Yeah.
I've played the NES version 10 million times, so it's just that much different. But it's fresh. And then Commando, I used to have. What is that mine?
No, it doesn't have the switch. You had the light switch on yours. Remember that?
Oh yeah.
Remember you had like a light switch on the front or something crazy like that?
I have no idea where who got my Commando? Where did it go? What?
It's got to be around here somewhere.
Actually, that game's kind of fun.
Yeah, I want to put that on the floor too, but again,
no continues, right?
No,
It's kind of hard.
It's a hard game.
Yeah.
But it's cool. It's got that Capcom, you know, or this is Data East. But was it Data East or I thought what?
Data East.
Oh, I thought Capcom made Commando. Was that a port? Did they make the port or something?
Maybe was it?
I have to research
was it
that.
Commando on the NES?
Yeah, I thought it was Capcom. Maybe it was. Maybe I'm just making that up. I don't know. I'll have to look into it.
Yeah, that's a dedicated one. I think that's a game you see a lot on conversions.
You do.
Yeah.
You do.
I see it for sale a bit.
Yeah.
I like it. I mean, it's a game I really remember, you know, when I was young. I played it on the NES, I know for sure. All right, Jay, so anything else you want to talk about? What's going on here?
I think you got the Grand Tour, John. I mean, so...
Hey, do you want to check out the FPGA?
Oh, yeah, let's go look at that. Yeah.
All right, Jay, so we're going to talk about this. Now, last time I was at...
Free Play Providence.
We talked about this board.
Right.
And I actually have one of these that we're going to install eventually in my Major Havoc.
Okay.
And tell me about this board.
Yeah. So this is the Vector FPGA board that Scott Swayze did. I think he was in your last video. So this replaces, you know, the original Tempest 2-board stack with a new FPGA version, which makes it much more reliable versus, you know, the original Tempest hardware stack. So, and this is capable of, this platform's capable of running more than just Tempest, which, you know, we talked about last time. It can run Major Havoc and some of the other Atari Vector games. As well as Omega Race too, if I'm not mistaken.
Is that right? Yeah. I remember that in the last video.
Correct.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Scott really did a great job at making a platform that was, you know, not just a one-trick pony. It can work, you know, for multiple Atari games. So I've been running it for 2 years in Providence. I was like the beta kind of site, and it's been rock solid. So I'm running it here now in Worcester, and you know, like we were talking about earlier, it seems to just run much better. The monitor seems to last. You know, a lot longer than I've seen in the past.
It's not driving the frame transistors as hard, right?
Yeah, so the big thing is if we go around the front...
overscan, isn't that also what drives the monitor too much?
Yeah, like if we go on the front and take a look, when it drives Tempest is really, like when that Tempest logo comes up...
overscan.
Yes, and what it does is it puts all of the emphasis, you know, on the top of the monitor, so basically in the very top half of the monitor. And so, you know, Scott and Andy talked about this last time. Yeah, you can see what it's doing now. It's kind of like flickering because the original Tempest game board only draws Tempest at the very top, like as it rises. But what Scott's doing is when he's drawing Tempest up here on the top, he's also drawing it down on the bottom at the same time, but he's blanking the bottom out. So you're not seeing it. The beam is not turning on the bottom. It's only turning on the top. But it's still drawing in both locations, so I guess it doesn't do as much, you know, harm to the monitor or stress it as hard as the original game board did when it's just drawing the Tempest logo up top, and it does that kind of attract mode screen, like you can see here. So yeah, watch closely. You'll see
he changed this.
He changed right here. See how it's like blinking?
Yeah.
Because when it blinks, he's actually drawing it in the top and the bottom, but you don't see the bottom. He doesn't turn the beam on.
And nobody would ever pick up on
Never.
that.
You would never notice there was even a difference there. But so it's those kinds of tricks that's in this hardware that's not in the original Tempest hardware that's supposed to make the game more reliable and do a better job at the with the monitor managing, you know.
And doesn't Star Wars have that same issue? Like if you have the picture too big on it, isn't it stressing the monitor out too much?
Yeah, so and I think that's part of the reason why Atari went to Amplifone, you know, is because they're having problems with 6100 due to like the way they were stressing the monitor, you know, they would just push it to the limits. Those frame transistors weren't really rated, you know, or they were at the extreme kind of like, you know, limits of what the technology could do at the time. Yeah. They were really pushing it too hard, so.
Yeah, I should put this in my Major.
Yeah.
If I put this in my Major Havoc, I can also play Tempest.
Correct.
Even though I have a horizontal monitor.
Yes, there is a version that Scott has where you can play it in a horizontal monitor, so. But yeah, it's a great addition if you want a game that's, you know, Tempest, that's more reliable. This is the way to go, you know, without a doubt.
Right.
So.
And you've got the pots for monitor adjustment right there. Is that what that is?
Yeah, just like the original Tempest board. You know, the XY controls, the size, the centering, everything's there.
Switch setting.
Correct. Yep, and it's plug and play with the original, you know, Tempest harness. You don't have to do anything else but just plug it in.
And you run the original AR power.
Everything, yeah. The original brick, the original power supply. You know, so it really is plug and play.
Right. Could you plug in a modern power supply with that? I mean, you'd need a sound amplifier, right?
Right, with the AR2, you would still need to amplify the sound, but it's just running on 5 volts. So I think the answer is yes. You don't need the convoluted, you know, setup that we have for Tempest. you could probably just run it off straight 5 volts, but you would need something to do with the sound, correct?
Right. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I should really do that to my Major Havoc.
Yeah, it's if you really
I got it. I mean, he sent me one, so
yeah. And in the Major Havoc, I think those boards are even more expensive. Like those boards are over $1,000 for a Major Havoc board.
It's kind of stupid.
Yeah, it's crazy money. So this board costs less than that. So if you really want to run a Major Havoc, that's the way to do it.
Right.
So
very cool.
If you're looking for more information, Scott is on Clav. It's Scott451 on Clav. Scott Swayze. So Scott451 is who to contact about the Vector FPGA board.
Does he have a website or something?
No, he's just selling them on Clav right now, but I think eventually he might branch out and sell them in other spots too.
So are you doing this as much as possible with these games?
Absolutely.
Problematic games?
Yeah, absolutely. Like if there's any way to run a Vector game more reliable, whatever it is, I'll try to do it because.
But in general, like we talked about the J-Rock board.
Oh yeah. Problematic games without a doubt. If there's a solution, that isn't MAME, but it's an FPGA or whatever, I'll do it, right? So whether it's, we looked at earlier with J-Rock and Kicks, we looked at the Dexter board in Dragon's Lair, the FPGA board in Tempest. I will run those things for games that are problematic, that the original hardware is just not going to last or is going to fail too often, to make it more reliable. So.
And then I guess the question is CRTs. I mean, that's...
Yeah, so that you can't get away from, right? So there's no LCDs in here, unless a game came with an LCD, which I don't think I have any of those. Everything is original CRT. We maintain those, and you and I know, John, like if you do everything you should do to a CRT, you do a cap kit, you rejuvenate it when it needs it, it'll last and the picture looks great. So why put an LCD in?
Right, and when we went into the hangar, I was petrified because we were running CRTs.
Yeah.
I just couldn't believe that they would last that long.
Yeah.
Every single day.
They do.
I mean, the hangar opens at like 10, 11 o'clock, closes
goes
at
to midnight or whatever.
It is. So
12 hours a day.
At least 12 hours every
7 days a
single
week.
day.
7 days a week.
And honest to God, they last.
They run. Yeah. I mean, they lasted 30 years before we did anything with them. And when we got them, they were all original. They needed caps or 5-axis, and we did all that stuff.
Yeah.
But once you do that and you bulletproof them, they will last another 20, 30 years.
It's true.
For the most part.
And the thing is, like, if you have a game that's been sitting in a warehouse for a year or two, or 5 years or 10 years,
you
put it on location, the bugs rise to the top.
They do. They always
get rid
do.
of them.
Yeah, and then you're fine.
And then you're home free.
After that, yeah.
I mean, that's kind of been, I think, our experience.
I agree. And
you've been doing it now on a larger scale than we did at the hangar initially.
That's correct.
And it probably it still holds true, right?
It absolutely does. Yeah. When I brought these games in here for the first time, John, I'm like, these games are all set. They're ready to go. They've been in my warehouse. I fine-tuned them all. I turned them on. But they would run 1 hour, 2 hours, 3 hours. You put them in here. You turn them on for 10 hours. All sorts of stuff. All sorts of stuff starts to show up. Like all of a sudden, everything's breaking.
Right.
Like that Defender. Like I thought that thing was home run. It was done.
Right.
And now it's like a RAM error. That stuff pops up. So.
It does. Right. I just think though, there's just no reason to put an LCD in.
Absolutely
at
not.
This point.
No, I mean, and look, you don't want to be the arcade that's running an LCD and everybody's like, oh well, yeah, they're running LCDs
the young people even know? I always ask that question, like.
Maybe not.
My daughter's in her 20s. If she went to an arcade and they had a Pac-Man,
probably not.
She wouldn't know.
No, probably not.
She might not even know that there is a difference between CRT and LCD.
Yeah, when you look at it that way, John, you're right. I mean, I don't know. It'd be hard to distinguish unless you had two games side by side. And somebody didn't know. And, well, that one looks a little different.
Right.
But other than that, like you said, a younger person may not even be able to tell the difference.
Wouldn't know that. Oh, this display seems weird. I don't know why. But they don't have any point of reference
to compare
CRT,
it to. Right.
My kids grew up with iPhones in their hands. Like they don't know.
Yeah, you're right. What's the difference? Yeah.
All right, Jay. Well, hey, we saw it all.
Yeah. We
saw everything.
We did.
Tim, you cleaned a lot of glass.
I did. Cleaned a lot of glass, cleaned a lot of skee balls.
Yeah. Now, guys, Tim has a YouTube channel. That Tim Guy.
That's correct.
Is at youtube.com/That
Tim Guy.
That Tim Guy. Go check it out. What are you working on now?
See, most recently, we've been cleaning a skee ball, but Working on a lot of skee ball, lots of skee ball.
But on your channel, what videos?
Oh, on my channel.
Yeah.
Well,
Didn't you just do those Robotron cabaret restores?
I did a bunch of Robotron cabarets.
Yeah.
I did 4 of them, all reproduced, stencil, CNC
Yeah, but you
machine.
actually made those. So like they're not like cabinets that you can deconvert it. They were original, brand new cabinets that you made, stenciled them. Yeah.
And you had someone like CNC cut the cab because we did a video at your house, right? Did we look at those?
Yeah, there may have been one there.
Yeah.
So I've done a total of 5 painted and stenciled cabinets.
With J-Rocks?
The people who got them all are populating them. I think everybody's doing J-Rocks.
Yeah.
It's just easier and more reliable.
Which, by the way, J-Rock everything is pretty much sold out.
Is it?
Right now, you cannot find a J-Rock board on Arcade Shop or anywhere. They're gone.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah, like sold out.
Did he just make an initial batch and he's been selling them, or has he been doing different runs?
No, I think he made a batch a few years ago and they're pretty much all sold out finally.
I feel like I got that board like 8 years ago.
Yeah, they've been around that long.
Yeah.
But I mean, he's done new like revisions and like tweaked them a little bit.
Oh,
but
I see.
Like they're still the original hardware, but he added like a VGA port or something like that.
Okay.
But I think if you go to Arcade Shop, they've been sold out for months. So if you're looking for any J-Rock board right now, they're like impossible to find. So.
I didn't know that. Interesting. So what did you do in your last video, Tim?
Let's see, probably a Sega Turbo repair. Oh, repin the Sega Turbo.
I like Sega Turbo, man.
You had one of those, right?
I did, yeah.
And you had the original wood shifts.
I did.
Like highly sought after or whatever.
Yeah, and that was one I struggled selling that.
Really?
Really?
Yeah, I like the chaos of it.
I love it as a Twitch racer.
It's a Twitch racer.
I've got the cockpit model. When that subwoofer goes when you're in the tunnel,
it's great, isn't it?
It's the best. And sometimes I crash on purpose just to hear the subwoofer go.
But you're right, it's a Twitch racer, and I always said, it doesn't have to be cars. It could be like meatballs coming at you or anything, right? It's just like you know, trying to get away from the oncoming traffic. So yeah, check out his channel. Tim guy on YouTube, and then Jay. If people want to keep up with what's going on here and open, what do they do?
So Facebook, Free Play Bar, or freeplaybar.com. We put all our updates there. When we're, Providence, when it's open, and then eventually Worcester when it opens. That's where
Very
it goes.
cool.
So thank you.
Well, Jay, thanks for showing me around,
Hey, thanks,
buddy.
John. Great seeing you again.
Bye, Tim.
See you, John.
All right, guys, let's go back to the basement. Guys, there you have it. That was the Free Play Bar and Arcade in Worcester, Massachusetts. What'd you think, huh? Pretty awesome, like seriously awesome, legit arcade. However, can't go there. This COVID stuff truly stinks. And Jay invested a ton of resources and time getting that building remodeled, all those games operating, just a complete bummer. So anyway, if you guys want to keep up with what he's doing there and when it might open, go find the Free Play Bar and Arcade website or Facebook page. And then also his location in Providence is open and operating. We've done a video there before. Just search for Free Play Bar and Arcade, either Providence or Worcester, Massachusetts. All right, let's do some viewer mail. If you guys want to participate in the viewer mail, you got to email them to me at john@johnsarcade.com. That's john@johnsarcade.com. Could be a question, could be a comment, could be anything. Just send it to john@johnsarcade.com. This one's from Magma Vision. Says, glad you're back. I'm so glad you're back doing YouTube. I would like to get into the arcade world, but I lack the space to have multiple cabinets, so I've thought about getting a candy cab. The thing is, I don't know what kind to get, or if they're even worth it. What do you think of candy cabs, and would you ever get one if you had to downsize? I would totally get one. I've considered getting one many times. Like we talked about in this video here, and we saw Jay's candy cabs, which I think were SEGAs, right? Were they Sega Blast Cities, I think. I don't remember, honestly. But yeah, I've thought about getting a candy cab. They're definitely legit, like, JAMA cabinets. You can get some of them where it's very easy to rotate the monitor, because you got to consider, are you going to play horizontal games or vertical games, or do you want to have the ability to easily rotate it? I don't really know exactly which model. I think my friend Matt Osborne had one that very easily rotated from the front. So that's something to consider when looking for them. But admittedly, I don't really know a ton about them because I've never really fully researched the topic. But I know there's like the Taito ones, the SEGA ones, I think the Capcom ones. Those are kind of like the three biggies. And I think you're going to want to look on the West Coast because I think there's some importers like in California that are bringing them in from Asia and then shipping them within the US. But I would totally encourage you to get one. Now remember, it's a JAMA cabinet, so you're going to be limited to JAMA boards, right? Which is a standard, you know, from the 90s on. But you can get adapters and play other, you know, kind of classic games, or you can get like an arcade SD. Like that would be a great setup. Get an arcade SD board that has like an SD card and plays a whole bunch of different classics. You could throw that in there. So yeah, it would be a very useful cabinet, and you could do a ton with it. Like when I had my Z-Back down here, the Street Fighter, that was one of the only JAMA, actually I think it was the only JAMA cabinet I had forever, and I was always swapping boards in that thing. Like, so, I like doing that. Like, it's fun to find the boards, it's fun to swap them. I probably should start doing that with the Mortal Kombat. The Z-Back was a lot easier because it had that shelf in the front. You could take the control panel down, pull it open, and the board was right there. So it was very easy to swap the board. So, yeah, I would encourage you to get a candy cab. I guess, you know, if anyone has any suggestions, leave a comment below for him as to which one you think is the best. All right, next one here is from Chance. It says, hey, man, my name is Chance. I have a prototype for Midway and IT, Incredible Technologies, who makes Golden Tee. And I just wanted to show you and welcome you back. I'm a big 90s Midway collector. I collect 80s too, but mainly 90s right now. I'm from Georgia. I've talked to all the lead programmers and artists. I had a lead programmer actually sign the side of it. It took me 5 to 6 months to piece together from 3 different states. John Newcomer was the only person from Midway that worked on it. 4 others did at IT. And by the way, I should just tell you what the game is or show it to you because it's super freaking cool. It is Midway Power Up Baseball, okay? So it's like NBA Jam or Blitz, but a baseball version of that. And tell me that that does not look amazing. Here's a picture of the side of the control panel here. You know, it's got some baseball cards here. Oh my God, I can't even. Paul O'Neill, Roberto Alomar, Cecil Fielder, Mo Vaughn, Tim Solomon, I think it says. So what a cool cabinet. Now, I guess, obviously this is super rare, so let's keep reading here. But you know, it's funny, like seeing this, like honestly, looking at this gets me pretty darn excited. I mean, for one, I love baseball. It's my favorite sport, right? And you know, I have Baseball Stars 2 over there, but I can't really think of any other baseball game in the arcade that I really played. Wasn't there some black and white, like Atari trackball baseball or something, like in the 70s? Like, I can't really think of any other baseball games in the arcade besides Baseball Stars. Like, why wasn't there? Why didn't this exist? Why is this only a prototype? Anyway, let's keep reading here. He says, okay, so it took him 5 to 6 months to piece it together from 3 different states. John Newcomer was the only person from Midway that worked on it. 4 others did at Incredible Technologies. The disc found on eBay runs the trackball version. The joystick one was nowhere near as fun as the trackball version, but people were abusing the trackball so bad. Midway didn't want to have to be replacing trackballs every week, so they made them go to joysticks. That version didn't test as well, and then it got killed off. One person pitched, and the other would bat. So if the guy on the left was pitching, he would move the trackball back to wind up, and then pull it forward as fast as he could to pitch towards the screen, just like Golden Tee, right? Then the batter had full control like Golden Tee. You could roll back and forth, and the batter would wiggle the bat around. It looked like a better version of NBA Jam. They had all the Major League Baseball rights and the heads. After the project got abandoned, it basically was resurrected a couple years later as Slugfest. Now, Slugfest was only a console game, right? That was just on the console. There was a Williams Slugfest pin that was like an old pitch and bat pinball style, but Slugfest never came to the arcade. Correct me if I'm wrong, right? So that just went to, this basically went to console as Slugfest. That would be about as close as you could get to the joystick version. The trackball version, you had to roll the ball to run between and steal bases. The faster you could roll, the faster you ran. So Chance, if you have more to share about this project, I would love to share it with the viewers, because I think that is awesome and I want it. But it looks so cool, and it does make sense. Like, why didn't they do a baseball version of NBA Jam or Blitz? So anyway, Chance, if there's anything more you want to share with me, please let me know so I can share it with everybody else. He did send some other images. I guess I could play some of the. All right, I'll show you some of the other images here. So yeah, I'm just showing some random images here that he sent me. But yeah, it's cool. It's super cool. Like, wow, I totally dig it. Like you don't really hear much about, like, I don't know, 90s prototypes. Maybe you do. I think Doc Mack had some at Galloping Ghosts. All right, this one's from Craig. Hey, John, great to see you back. I've been a long-time subscriber, watching people like yourself and a few other arcade retro channels in the US and the UK gave me the push to start my own channel called Goodwin's Place. It's only small, but I own 5 different cabs here in Wales, UK. A couple of JAMA cabs from a local arcade that I played as a kid growing up. Do you have any chip shop cabinets over there? Do you? A Taito Space Invaders cocktail, a stunning Astrofighter cab. My latest is a bit more modern with an 18-wheeler Naomi cabinet, which I'm tempted to convert to Naomi 2 for other driving games. On my channel, I fix a range of retro consoles and other tech projects. I'm planning to get on with the monitor of one of the JAMA cabs. Already done the caps, but getting looping vertical hold. So think it's the flyback. Check the remote board. I don't know if it would be the flyback for that. The vertical, it's just kind of, you know, check the remote board, the connection, the pots, all that stuff. So we'll get that filmed when I get around to doing it. It's a Hand-Trax Polo. I had problems with my remote board, I remember. Yeah, the colors. Wasn't the colors all messed up on that game? And it was the remote board. There was a cold solder joint or something. Yeah, look at that remote board, or the pots on the remote board. Anyway, he says he has a Hand-Trax Polo, so I'll be watching back over your videos. Yeah, that was a nightmare of a repair series, but it is working still. As I know you've worked on these a lot before. Anyway, the reason I started the channel is I hate public speaking and need to do it quite a lot for my work. This really does help get over those initial stage nerves. Hope you don't mind, but I took a bit of inspiration from you and then made it my own. I even adapted your "we're in the basement" to "we're out in the garage." As I needed something to intro with, and it stuck. Cheers for all the great content, and look forward to the future updates. Craig from Goodwin's Place. So yeah, Craig, we'll give you a plug. Go to youtube.com/Goodwin's Place, GOODWINS Place. If you guys want to check out his channel. I did take a quick peek. He has a lot of console stuff and obviously some arcade games he's mentioning here. All right, one here from Gary. It says, "Hey John, good to see you back on YouTube. We missed you. While going through some older videos during your time away from recording, I enjoyed your John's Grill and John's Kitchen videos. Do you have any plans to do any more? Also, during lockdown, I spent some time converting a Street Fighter arcade 1-up cab into a RetroPie MAME cab. Would you consider building one with perhaps a JAMA setup? Your friend in the north of England, Gary." So, So yeah, I've been thinking, you know, I really do enjoy doing those John Kitchen or even the grill ones. I did like I've done like some unlisted ones like with my phone, because I like grilling, I like smoking, I enjoy doing that, I really do, and cooking. So yeah, I think we could probably revisit that at some point. I was actually toying with the idea. So there is a join channel on my channel. There's a join button on my channel. And if you join that, you become a member of the channel. And I've been thinking of what I can do for members. You know, I thought about maybe playing MAME and doing that live for members, or just recording a video only for members. And I did think about maybe doing just like a quick like cooking video and making that a member only video. So I'm playing around with what to do with that join button. But it actually, like yesterday when I was smoking, I smoked some country style pork ribs. I honestly thought about just pulling my camera out and kind of documenting it and throwing it on YouTube for the members. So I might do something with that, you know, just kind of quick little impromptu videos and just kind of make them member only videos. So so if you guys want to become a member and you want to get that stuff, I haven't decided when or what it's going to be, but I'll be doing stuff hopefully soon within the next week. Click the join button and become a member, and I can also communicate to members only, and so I'm screwing around with that. So it's like $5 a month. It's a way to support me, so consider clicking the join button. Anyway, he also says during the lockdown that he converted a Street Fighter 1 arcade 1-up into a RetroPie MAME cabinet. Would I consider building one with perhaps a JAMA? So I did do a RetroPie video. We did that. Adam and I did that video a long time ago. It's actually one of my most viewed videos on the channel. So I have a Raspberry Pi. I had the image for the RetroPie stuff and all that. So yeah, I've done that. I do have a JAMA adapter for the Raspberry Pi that I probably should plug into the Mortal Kombat. But it's funny, you know, converting the arcade 1-up into that sounds like actually a fun project. I don't know if I would take that on. I do have an arcade 1-up that I've talked about. I have the Centipede one, but I think we should do more with the RetroPie, with the Raspberry Pi, because I would like to use that JAMA adapter. I think it would be pretty cool to put that in the Mortal Kombat cabinet with my JAMA switcher. That would be a great setup, right? I have the dedicated Mortal Kombat 2 board, a JAMA switcher that I can then use to switch to the Raspberry Pi, and then just do some light emulation. So anyway, all right, that's gonna do it. Again, thanks for all the emails and the support and everything since I come back. So we should be doing another video this week. Actually, probably with Jay, to be honest. Jay will probably be in the 3rd video in a row. Because him and I are going to probably pick up the NBA Fast Break from Westfield and bring it here. And then he said that he'd help me take a look at Paperboy, and we'll get the iRobot working. The iRobot just had to plug the PCB in. And then now we got to look at Major Havoc. I'm not happy about that Major Havoc. I'm hoping it is just the AR that died. I really think it is. I don't think the monitor died. The cone lights are not lighting at all, the buttons. So anyway, I got to pull that out. That game is not fun to pull out. So anyway, all right, guys, that's going to do it for the video. By the way, I do have a podcast called Video Game Outsiders. I've been doing that podcast for 15 years. So if you guys want to listen, it's modern gaming. We've been doing it forever. It's a great podcast. It's fun. It's irreverent. Go check it out at videogameoutsiders.com. We also have an app you can find on iOS or Android. Just search for Video Game Outsiders. We do a ton of bonus content on our app. So yeah, just go check it all out at videogameoutsiders.com. And other than that, I'll see you guys very soon. Thanks for subscribing and commenting and liking and all that stuff. And thanks for the support. Anyway, that's it. Later and bye.